They said we couldn't. They swore we wouldn't. But every doubt became fuel. And now, we have one purpose: to silence all the critics. They'll never understand the pain we've gone through or the sacrifices we make. They'll never know the weight we've carried or the price we've paid. We've fought through every rep, endured every sprint. Brick by brick, step by step, all of it, building to this moment. Now, the lights are on, and every eye is on us, hoping we stumble. But this is our time, our chance to prove them all wrong.
This year, Calvin University celebrates its 150th anniversary. For a century and a half, Calvin has truly been one of America's outstanding colleges. But for its first 149 years of existence, Calvin was unlike many of its peer institutions in one very culturally popular realm. You see, until last year, Calvin never fielded a football team. That was until 2024. Under the direction of athletic director Jim Timmer and head coach Trent Figg, last fall, Calvin University debuted its long-awaited appearance on the gridiron in outstanding fashion. A competitive team that drew big crowds, campus excitement, and set the stage for 2025 recruiting, debuted in outstanding fashion in 2024. Now, 1 year later, the curtain has risen on season 2 for the Knights. They're bigger, they're stronger, they're more confident. And it showed last week by thumping Oberlin College 88-6 last Saturday near Cleveland in the season's opening matchup. The Knights prepared for that opener on a brand new practice field that will soon become their stadium. But first, today, another milestone for the football program is reached when, for the first time ever, an intercollegiate football game is played on the Calvin University campus. With a beautiful new soccer stadium reconfigured to host football, Calvin is ready for this historic day. Welcome to Calvin University football on the Calvin Sports Network, 96.1 The Game, and Michigan Sports Radio. My name is Bob Sack. I'll have all the play-by-play for you today. Jason Hutton will be alongside shortly with our color analysis, and we are ready to bring you NCAA football, Calvin University battling Concordia of Wisconsin. But first, when we return, we chat with Trent Figg on our Planning for Success segment presented by Skipper & Osterink Wealth Management. Welcome to Calvin Knights football on 96.1 The Game and Michigan Sports Radio.
The mission statement of our program is building champions for life. And I truly mean that when I say that. To me, there's two types of programs. There's transactional and there's transformational. And we are building a transformational football program here because we want our young men to leave prepared for the rest of their lives. And so when we talk about being champions, we talk about 4 different areas: in the classroom, in the community, on the field, and then champions of our faith. And all 4 pieces are so important to what we're doing.
The coach just puts you in the game. Everything is on the line. Are you ready? Just like a winning team needs a strategy, your finances need a game plan. At Skipper & Osterink, we're your financial coaches. We strategize together, striving to adapt to every financial play. Your victories are our victories. Our goal is to help you be successful. Join the Skipper & Osterink team. Your financial success is our focus.
You don't always see what keeps you comfortable, but you feel it. That's what Bauman & DeGroot brings to homes, businesses, and now Calvin Athletics. Thanks to their expert HVAC services, our facilities stay game ready year-round. Thank you, Bauman & DeGroot, for keeping us cool under pressure and warm when it counts.
Where will the next revolutionary idea come from? That next breakthrough in scientific research? At Calvin University, you can dream bigger, think deeper, aim higher. Our world-class faculty push students to keep asking hard questions and never settle for the status quo. Become part of a university that challenges students to go beyond as Christ's agents of renewal in the world. Calvin University, go beyond.
At Garrett's Appliance, it's all about family, service, and excellence, just like Calvin. As a longtime local business, Garrett's knows the value of doing things the right way. For your home and your future. Thank you to Garrett's Appliance for supporting our student athletes and helping West Michigan thrive. At Calvin University, innovation powers everything we do, from the classroom to the field. It's how we learn, how we lead, and how we grow together. That's why we're proud to partner with Applied Innovation, a regional company providing practical advice and cutting-edge technology, automation and imaging to drive business forward. Thank you, Applied Innovation, for investing in the future, ours and yours.
Welcome inside the Planning for Success pregame show, brought to you by Skipper No Strength Wealth Management. Bob Sack here with head coach at Calvin University, Trent Figg. Historic day today here on Calvin University's campus, the first football game ever. We'll get to that in a moment, but first, a historic day last Saturday. Calvin puts up 88 points against Oberlin, 88-6, the final. The Knights win their opener for 2025. We knew going in, the opponent Oberlin was a program that was struggling.
Yeah.
And yet, you had to be impressed with a few areas. What stuck out in terms of the Knights and who really surprised you in a positive way on Saturday?
I mean, so we preach all the time being a physical football team, and I felt like our guys were very physical on Saturday. I wanted our guys to come out and execute at a high level and be really, really physical. And so I felt like our guys did that from start to finish. In the first quarter, there was some, first quarter jitters that we had to work through a little bit. But it was great to see. We have a different quarterback this year. He was able to come out and be efficient with the football. What I loved is that we did not turn the ball over on offense, scored on defense, scored on special teams, able to get a blocked punt. So just some of those areas that you really want to see early in the year. I felt like we transitioned well from phase to phase. And I love the improvement that our defense has made. I felt like our guys on defense have really owned what we're doing defensively, and we were very physical.
Let's talk about the offensive backfield for a minute. Brand new quarterback,
yeah,
new running backs as well. How do you gauge their progress and their performance on day one?
So I think it starts up front with the offensive line. I think our offensive line showed Saturday that they're improved. They're bigger and they're stronger and they have a year more experience. And so I think that allowed our quarterback to be that much more efficient, and it allowed our running backs to get downhill and run. I mean, we ran the ball for 430 yards on Saturday, which was, our running back coach has a mustache, and he always had a deal if we rushed for 400, he'd shave it. So the running backs shaved his mustache yesterday. So
Coach Vasquez pulling out the motivational tools, no doubt. 88 points. You look at that, and when I looked at the stats, I thought, well, we must have totaled over 1,000 yards. You would think that would be the case. That was not the case.
Right.
The reality was the defense was so good in providing a short field for Thomas Vaccaro and the offense. Defensively, just dominating in the front six. What were the position groups that really impressed you on defense?
I think our forcing unit, so our linebackers and our defensive line, I think they did a great job of really owning the identity of being an attacking defense. And you just see those linebackers, they're a year older. And man, I thought those guys played really fast on Saturday. I was impressed with our defensive line. I think all last year we had 14 sacks, and then we had, almost that, this past weekend. So
You come to practice on Monday this week, you had to have something in the film room, something that you could look at the team and say, we have to get better at that. What was that for last week?
We put the ball on the ground twice. That first drive, we put the ball on the ground, and then Nick's first touchdown, he put the ball on the ground as well. So ball security on offense. And then defensively, we left four takeaways on the field. We dropped a couple of interceptions. Really, we should have had a shutout, and that's what we're preaching to our guys. We talk all the time about, every single play, and there was 2 or 3 plays out there that weren't what they were supposed to be. And then we've got to start faster. I don't think that we started fast enough on offense. We took 2 negative plays to start the game. And so those first quarter jitters have to go away now. We've got to be more clean in the first quarter.
I thought there was a couple of drives in the second quarter where Oberlin moved the ball through the air.
Yep.
And then after that, you just totally clamped down. What adjustments did you make to curtail that passing attack, really?
Their number one pass concept was scramble drill on Saturday. When the quarterback is running for his life, things get really discombobulated really quickly, and our guys panicked a couple of times. And so when the quarterback's scrambling, we have a system in place for what's supposed to happen, and we didn't do that early on in the game. And then we got that adjusted on the sideline. I think that really helped us.
Let's turn our attention to today, a historic day at Calvin University, the first ever college football game on campus. It's been almost 3 years since you've been in Grand Rapids. How exciting is this day to actually occur? It was wonderful playing in Grand Rapids Christian last year, but we're on campus today.
Yeah, this is an unbelievable deal. I mean, I wake up and pinch myself in the morning. This is incredible. The support that we have here, our players being on campus from an operational standpoint, from an excitement standpoint, from a fan experience standpoint, it's going to be awesome. There's really no other way to say it. We're so excited, so thankful to be right here on this campus.
The opponent is Concordia, Wisconsin, a team that Calvin traveled to last year just outside of Milwaukee. Hard-fought game. Really came down to the last couple of possessions. Ended up to be a 10-point defeat, but was really closer than that. What do you remember about that game last year in Milwaukee, other than the traffic jam to get through Chicago?
Boy, that was our first ever road trip. Some things got screwed up at the hotel. Some things got screwed up at the pregame meal. Our kids fought. When you look at that game, the second quarter and the fourth quarter is where we struggled. I think that we wore down in that game a little bit. It was our first ever road trip, and that's definitely not an excuse. It's just the reality of how young we were. We're still very young, but boy, we had training wheels on during that game because it was our first ever road trip, and we go into the fourth quarter, it's 24-24, and we just didn't quite have the juice to finish the game. But man, our kids are so excited to go out there and play today.
Trent Figg joining us here on the Skipper and O-String Planning for Success. And I think about that game last year, and Concordia had a running back that was hurt in the third quarter, Ashar Thomas. We'll see him today. Hunter Hogan with a great tackle on him on a screen pass in the third quarter. He was injured on that play, a good clean tackle. That changed the game.
Definitely
He's
did.
a hard, physical runner. How is Calvin's defense different this year to handle a kid like that, the 5'9", 200-pounder from Florida?
Yeah, I think up front we're just more sound against the run game, and our kids are stronger and they're more physical. But he's a good back. This is a very well-coached football team. I think they do a great job in all 3 phases of it. We've got a better forcing unit attack plan today than what we had last year.
They'll throw the ball as much as they'll pass it. Roman Funk threw 31 times last week. The balance is there for their offense. What do you remember from him as a quarterback that he developed over the course of his sophomore season? Yeah,
he's a very efficient passer. So he does a great job of taking what the defense gives you. I think they scheme people up as well as anybody that we play. And so he does a great job of just running their offense.
Trent, a historic day on campus, a big game too. You and I talked about this game over the summer, how a victory today is so critical because it would be the first home win against such a formidable opponent. How much would it mean? What would it mean to you today to pull off this victory?
Man, our kids are really excited. Here's what I'll tell you. I'm so proud of the way that we've prepared. We talk all the time about process over outcome. And the process to get to this point today, our kids have done exactly what we've asked them to do. And to go out there and win today would be huge for our program.
Concordia and Calvin should be a great matchup today, all coming up on the Calvin Sports Network.
At Calvin, our faith in God and pursuit of excellence drives us. Our new soccer stadium reflects that commitment, offering a premier space for our student athletes to compete on and off the field. Whether you're an athlete, a summer camper, or a spectator, join our community of Knights at Calvin University.
They said we couldn't. They swore we wouldn't. But every doubt became fuel. And now, we have one purpose: to silence all the critics. They'll never understand the pain we've gone through or the sacrifices we make. They'll never know the weight we've carried or the price we've paid. We've fought through every rep, endured every sprint. Brick by brick, step by step, all of it, building to this moment. Now, the lights are on, and every eye is on us, hoping we stumble. But this is our time, our chance to prove them all wrong.
For 149 years, the concept of Calvin University playing intercollegiate football was just a dream. That is, until last year's rousing and successful debut, which served notice that the Knights are a football program quickly on the rise. This afternoon, it's another milestone for Calvin's blossoming football program. Today, for the first time ever, a college football game will be played on the Calvin University campus in a beautiful new soccer stadium reconfigured to host football, and it's ready for this memorable day. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to a historic sports day in West Michigan and an exciting afternoon of NCAA college football. I'm Bob Sack, he's Jason Hutton, and we're delighted you've joined us for this regional conference matchup, non-conference matchup between the Concordia Falcons and the Calvin Knights. Let's go down to the field where Dr. Steve Suddeth is directing the Calvin Marching Band with tonight's national anthem. Jason Hutton, Calvin's new football stadium might not quite be ready yet, just to our north here, but this is a pretty cool venue for a football game, a reconfigured soccer stadium.
Yeah, that stadium, when it gets done, it's going to be amazing, I know it, but this is a pretty nice consolation prize. This is fun, this is a good setup, and it's the first ever on. Like, the excitement's in the air. I mean, I'm ready to go.
Can you check to see if it's
A great atmosphere indeed for us today, and it's a Calvin team that was 2-8 last year, but very competitive. A team that was in most of its games, and in fact 4 of the games went down to the final possession that the Knights lost. How much better is this Knights team in 2025 than they were last year?
Well, I think we're going to find out today, at least maybe get a little bit of information on it. You know, last week 88-6 over Oberlin. You know, we'll see. We'll see what happens here against this Concordia team. This obviously going to be much more of a test. So I'm ready to find out here today, but I think the sentiment is they're definitely better than a year ago. And how could they not be? They lead the country in returning players.
That's true. With all the freshmen and sophomores from last year, no doubt. Concordia's a pretty formidable opponent. These two teams met last year just outside of Milwaukee. 34-24 was the final. Went really down to the last couple of minutes of play. Indeed, a tough opponent for this home opener.
It is. You know, Concordia won 6 games last year, 6-3 out of the North Atlantic Conference. You know, it's a good league. Aurora won it. St. Norbert was there. Good programs. And so that was a great test last year for Calvin. Now we get to see the strides that they've made. I'm excited to see Thomas Vaccaro. You got to see him last week in the win over Oberlin. Like Hunter Hogan at running back. Like even though there's a lot of the same players, I think there's a lot of new, and it's exciting.
Kickoff just around the corner, coming up on this historic and memorable afternoon here in Grand Rapids. The first ever Calvin University football game on campus, presented today by Northwestern Mutual. Back after this on the Calvin Sports Network.
Whether it's a first savings account or a mortgage down the road, Lake Michigan Credit Union is there every step of the way. As a proud sponsor of Calvin Athletics, LMCU is investing in what matters: student success, strong communities, and a bright future for all. Thank you, LMCU, for helping our student athletes and our neighbors dream big and bank smart.
This year has definitely changed my world. I'm making an impact here. It feels good to know every day that I'm growing in my abilities that I love, which is film, and I'm also growing as a believer in faith.
I'm really thankful that I was able to do work in my field during school, at school, and that has given me the confidence to move forward with doing my own independent work and getting to put my foot in that door before I even graduate. I don't think I would have found elsewhere.
My life hasn't been easy. I've survived many traumas. I was stuck in the cycle that I couldn't get out of, and I hated how I looked. I hated my body. I started to become more focused in my piano studies. I was practicing maybe 4 to 6 hours a day. It was very intense, and it gave me more confidence. I felt that my mental health was healing, and I am now creating programs that affect so many young pianists all throughout the country.
The best part of grad school would be the connections that you make, not only with your cohort, but with the professors as well.
I felt very supported, and I don't feel alone in the program.
I just really feel like each individual in the program gets a relationship with the professors in a different way that's meaningful to them and is more geared to them.
I'm a grad student at Calvin University.
Yay! Okay.
Welcome back to Calvin University. Bob Sack alongside Jason Hutton on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. Jason, in a reconfigured soccer stadium. We're still a year or so away from the Calvin Knights opening their official football stadium, but this is a pretty good venue.
Yeah, there's no question. There's a ton of excitement about what that stadium's going to be just down the hill, hopefully next year at some point anyway. But this is nice. Sidema Field, just the second year of it, the soccer stadium. This is fun. This is a good place to have a football game, and I'm excited for it.
Calvin has won the toss here on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. Storm Team A weather has us with partly sunny skies. Temperatures reaching about the mid-70s after the morning rain. Just a perfect afternoon for football. Knights will defer to the second half. That means they'll tee it up. Sal Ruffino kicking off. He'll kick deep to Jason Leonard and Nick Kroll. Concordia comes into this football game 1-0. They knocked off Thiel College last week, 27-8. Of course, Calvin with that thumping of Oberlin, 88-6 last week in Ohio. So both teams 1-0, and both teams ready to go here. Calvin University football on campus, underway here in 2025. Epps' kick, or rather Ruffino's kick, sails into the end zone. Touchback, and that's where Concordia will start first and 10 at the 25-yard line. Their quarterback is Roman Funk as we go to the Garrett's Appliance starting lineup. Roman Funk is the quarterback. He's a sophomore from Scottsdale, Arizona. Watch for Shar Thomas. He's a running back. Number 0 from Punta Gorda, Florida. Jacob Pugh will also get a lot of time in that backfield.
88 points, Bob. You know, you don't get 88 unless the defense played pretty well, right, last week?
They rarely allowed Oberlin across midfield, and that's why Calvin's scoring drives were short, and their total offense was just 646 yards, just 646. Roman Funk out of the option, gives to Ashar Thomas, and on first down, he's stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. Trevor Martins knocked him down for a yard gain. Thomas last year in this game ran for 116 yards, and most of it, nearly all of it, was in the first half. He left the game with a lower body injury, which turned out to be an Achilles, or rather a ACL tear. He is back after a 50-yard rushing output last week.
That's going to be fun to watch today. You know, how will he be coming back off that injury? Is he the same guy we saw last year against Calvin? That was a good player. He battled for 3 on that first down, 2nd and 7. Infraction and an illegal procedure call likely coming against the Falcons. They're coached by Greg Eder. He's in his 18th year. Of course, Trent Figge, who you heard on the 96 Won the Game and Michigan Sports Radio pregame show, in his second year.
Offense, 74, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Penalty marks it back to the 23-yard line, where it'll be 2nd down and 12. Garrett's Appliance starting lineup for Calvin. C.J. Sheets across the front, along with Matt Zimmerk and Sam Gallo, the right defensive end. It'll be a 3-4, sometimes 3-3 defense. 2 receivers out to the left, 2 to the right. Funk straight back to pass. Fires it incomplete over the middle, and it bounced to the intended receiver at the 35. That was Cameron Pierre. Coverage there by Caden Kolanowski, the safety coming up. Incomplete pass brings up 3rd down and 12 for the Falcons at the 23-yard line.
Calvin went nickel there. Paul Hubbard was on the field as that 5th DB. They were a zone. They tried to find an opening there. Good job, I thought, by Hubbard and Connor Smits, who was in there at safety, to not give him much room.
3 receivers to the right. Funk has time, swings it underneath to Leonard. He's got it at the 28, out across the 30, to outside of the numbers at the 34, upended there. And a good tackle by Gage Jones. He's going to be a yard shy, so we'll see what Greg Eder does here. First 4th down of the game, 4th and 1 at their own 34. It looks like he's keeping the offense. Nope, sends the punt team on. Calvin gets a 3 and out on the first defensive series.
Well, interesting. They run the crossing route there, which usually want to run against man defense. Calvin just showed zone on the previous play. They did actually get man there, but a nice job of Jones, the safety, coming up and getting him just before he got the first down. And getting off the field is going to be huge for the Knights, and they do it here in this opening possession.
Brady Nowatarski back to kick for Concordia. He'll boot it deep to Caden Kolanowski, standing on his own 30. High spiral kick. Kolanowski calls for a fair catch at the 26, and that's where the Calvin offense will start. Today's Calvin Injury Report is brought to you by Koistra Chiropractic. Only Jackson Cook and Kai Hanag will not play today due to an injury. That's today's Calvin Injury Report, brought to you by Koistra Chiropractic, with 2 locations in Grand Rapids and Wyoming. Koistra Chiropractic Clinic is dedicated to helping you achieve optimal health through natural, safe, and effective chiropractic care. Call or visit Koistra Chiropractic today. All right, our Garrett's Appliance starting lineup on offense. Thomas Vaccaro at quarterback. He'll have Hunter Hogan lined up to his right on 1st and 10. 3 wideouts to the right for the Knights. Inside handoff to Hogan. Dances at the line of scrimmage and then pushes the pile out to the 30. Picked up a couple on that play. Hogan, of course, Jason's a converted receiver. Caden Huizinga made the stop. A converted receiver into a running back role this year.
Well, Hunter Hogan's a converted everything, right? Remember he was playing defense last year. He was a four-sport star at Ravenna.
2nd and 8, Hogan's got it again. Bursts his way up the middle for a first down to the 41-yard line of Calvin. Great hole by that interior line. Teddy Beckner finally tripped him up there, but that offensive line with Mike Liggett up over center. Braden Steinbacher at the left guard. Winton Napier at the right guard. Really opened a big crease there for Hogan. Out of the pistol now. Hogan's got it again. Straight up the gut. Over the 45 out to the 48. Dragged down by Huizinga. And right now, Jason, that offensive line's getting a good punch to start this game.
Yeah, those big guys up front are doing the job, but what are they doing? What's Calvin doing? Not are they running the ball north and south, Bob. That's what they have to do. Good start.
On 2nd down and 4, this time Hogan is bottled up right at the line of scrimmage. First to meet him was big Darian Turner. We'll get that rest of that Calvin offense and Concordia defense, but this is an up-tempo offense that Trent Figge has here. 3rd down and 4. Vaccaro rolls right, dumps it on underneath route to Bosma. He's got it outside the numbers for a first down. Cut brought down by Lance Hartman there, or rather Logan Hartman. The tight end, Bosma, who's questionable today, Jason, with a hamstring problem, shows up big here on that third down play.
Great call by Ben Dixon. They run the boot. They get Bilesma lined up as an H, come across the formation, and pick up a big first down.
From the 47, Hogan, big hole off left guard into the second level over the 30 to the 34-yard line. Dylan Glowicki wrapped him up there, but that's a first down. Hunter Hogan finding a lot of room up the middle on this first possession. 11:20 to go. Knights on the move at the 34 of Concordia, and they get Turner to jump offside. Should be a free 5 yards for Calvin.
Yeah, Thomas Vaccaro wanted a free play, right? He's like, I know it's offsides. I want to take a shot to that big guy.
Number 97 with contact.
Early on, the difference in this running game from last week against Oberlin is significant. Calvin with a great surge up front, but also Hunter Hogan running north to south. Last week he was dancing a little east to west, probing. Today the holes are there and he's hitting them hard.
Yeah, Vaccaro wanted to throw it to Mitch Merheisen and see what happened, but there was contact from the nose tackle, so I think it was a correct call from the officials.
5-yard walk-off to the Concordia 29, 1st and 5 for Thomas Vaccaro, the quarterback from Nashville, Tennessee. Again, Hogan right up the gut, pushes the pile inside the 30 down to the 27.
Yeah, that's a 3-yard gain, right? But you'll take it. I mean, Calvin's running the football, averaging over 4 yards a carry already. Like, running the football, staying on the field, this is a recipe for success for the Knights.
2nd and 3 from the 27. Hogan off Vaccaro's right hip. Here's a quick tunnel screen right side to Jude Klunder. Slips a tackle at the 25 and is ushered out of bounds at the 22. That's another Knights first down. Omari Waldron corralled them there out of bounds, but not before Calvin picks up their second first down. Quick tempo offense, 1st and 10 from the Concordia 22. Two receivers out to the left for Vaccaro. Inside handoff to Hogan. He's into the second level again. He's got a first down inside the 15 to the 11. Glowicki saves a touchdown at the 11, but how about Hunter Hogan? And how about the blocking of Liggett, Steinbacher, and Napier inside?
Yeah, I thought Liggett did a great job there of getting to the second level. Big gainer for Hogan. Calvin continues to run it.
1st and goal from the 10. Hogan again, this time on a counter play. Flag comes in. Could be holding on Calvin. We talk about the up-tempo. Trent Figg wants it, but he also wants to use it, Jason, to start fast. And that's a big difference, again, over last week and a lot of games last year.
Shot block. Number 69 and 72. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
This drive will get a little bit of a challenge here, though, because a 15-yard penalty is going to move it back on an illegal chop block. Explain that one.
Well, yeah, if the defender's engaged, as he was with the center Liggett, you can't block below the waist on him. So he's engaged. The guard comes over and blocks below the waist. That's not legal. They're trying to protect players. Too many injuries happen in that situation. That's a big penalty with 15 yards. But when you talk about the tempo that Calvin wants to go with, listen, there's some key things with that. You have got to get first downs if you're going to do it, because otherwise your defense ends up on the field too long. Calvin with 3 first downs in this drive.
1st and 23 from the Concordia 26. Play action. Vaccaro to throw deep down the left sideline. He's got a wide open Klunder touchdown. Calvin Knights. Thomas Vaccaro lofted it perfectly to the left corner. Jude Klunder on it. In and out route beat his defender, and the Knights are on the scoreboard with the first touchdown ever on Calvin University's football campus.
It's a combo route. You nailed it. And what has to happen to make that happen, you have to give your quarterback time. We've talked all drive about this offensive line. They've been great blocking for the run. That time, pass protection allowed Vaccaro the time to find Jude Klunder on a great route.
Logan Knapp on to attempt the extra point. Knapp was 6 for 6 last week in Ohio out of the Tate Dome hold. Snap is low, corralled nicely by Dome. And Knapp punches it through. 9:40 to go in the first quarter on the Calvin Sports Network. The Knights have struck first. They lead at 7-0. You're watching Calvin University football on WXSP TV and listening on 96.1 The Game and Michigan Sports Radio.
Night Nation. Today's game is brought to you by Capital and Risk Management Services. Since 1987, they've partnered with our community to provide financial and risk solutions that keep your future secure. Whether you're planning ahead or protecting what matters most, they're here for you. Connect with Russ Clausing at 312-458-4523 to learn more. Capital and Risk Management Services. Strategic solutions, pursuing a secure future.
Back here at Calvin, today's game presented by Northwestern Mutual Insurance, and the Knights have struck first on that 26-yard TD toss from Thomas Vaccaro to Jude Klunder. Klunder out of that slot back position with 26 catches last year for 216 yards, but that is his first touchdown as a Calvin Knight.
Awesome experience for the Grand Rapids Christian grad. You know, this is exactly how Trent Figg wanted this game to start. His defense gets the 3-and-out, gets off the field. His offense goes right down, running the football, throwing it 3 times. But the big crowd here got him into this game early. That's what Calvin wants to do. They want to keep these folks that came to see this first ever on-campus game engaged.
From the 25, 1st and 10. Here's the fake jet sweep. Funk, the quarterback, keeps it right up the middle. Stacked up at the 28. Martin's first to hit on that inside linebacking crew. Brought to you by Garrett's Appliance, and it's a good one. Carson Scherstein, number 2. Trevor Martin's 37. That's really the strength of this team, Jason, defensively.
Yeah, those inside backers are outstanding, and a great play by Martin's, right? They send that jet motion. Some will refer to it as eye candy. Martin's didn't bite. He had the quarterback all the way, and he shut down that QB power.
2nd and 7 from the 28. In motion is Watson that gives to Pugh on a sweep, tries to get to the edge, can't do it, hemmed in right there at the 29-yard line. It was Scherstein right on cue. Comes up to make the stop. He had 14 tackles last week at Oberlin. Big time player.
He just straight up beat his blocker right there. I mean, that's just winning your one-on-one battle. We saw that from both 37 Martins and 2 Scherstein. I mean, those guys were outstanding last year, and they're getting even better.
3rd down and 7 for Concordia. 3 wideouts to the right, empty backfield, 2 to the left for Roman Funk against a 4-man rush. Kalen Bulldog showing pressure off the right side. Now he drops back. Funk to throw, wings it here out of the right flat, incomplete, overshot the intended receiver, which was Nick Kroll. Good coverage on the play by Hubbard, but the pass rush started to hurry Roman Funk, and another 3-and-out for this Calvin defense.
Well, you're disguising what you're doing, right? First-year defensive coordinator Lamar Bell, as you said, Bolduc showing pressure. He dropped into coverage. They brought the middle linebacker blitz with Martins, who pressured Funk, made him get rid of it a little too quickly. High, incomplete. Calvin's off the field again.
Kolanowski retreating back to his 35. Notarski punt, another nice spiral boot. Headed toward the left sideline, takes a Concordia bounce, and will be down at the 34-yard line. Fans, today's featured Calvin football student athlete planning for success honoree is Peter de Kruiter. Peter is an offensive lineman from Zeeland, Michigan. He is in his 3rd year with the football program. Calvin's Dean's List student, majoring in financial planning with a minor in accounting and supply chain. That's Planning for Success, presented by Skipper and Ostrink Wealth Management, providing the financial clarity, solutions, and service that allow you to focus on what you care about most. 1st and 10 from their own 34. Thomas Vaccaro with Hogan off his left hip. He'll fake to him, swing it out to Klunder. Gets a nice block from Seth Anderson and squirms his way out over the 40 to the 41-yard line before Caden Huizinga slid over to make the stop.
Yeah, that's just twins to the wide side, and you get behind Seth Anderson, who had a nice block. You know, the first drive they ran that play to the opposite side of the field, and Mitch Murheisen had a good block.
2nd and 2 from the 42. Hogan on the inside. Hit a big hole up the middle again. Breaks into the secondary. He's got a 1st down into Falcon territory at the 45. Plawicki and Huizinga there to finally spill him, but not before Hunter Hogan, who is rolling here in the 1st quarter, gets another big gainer.
Braden Steinbacher, Andrew Berg opening up holes. Hunter Hogan hitting him hard.
On 1st and 10, Hogan eludes a tackler at the line of scrimmage and gets 6 more down to the 39, right up the middle. That's been the success. It was Caleb Weichel dropping him there. Call it a long run of 5, so 2nd and a short 5. They'll give to Hogan. This time there's nothing there, and he plows into that middle. Stood up there by Huizinga and Birch for no gain.
A little surprised they went to the well there 3 straight times. I thought we'd see something on the edges at least there, but they try to go middle. They've had success there. That time though, the Concordia, Wisconsin D-line was up to the task, and now it's 3rd down. Big play here. I look for one of those quick passes again.
3rd down and 4 from the Concordia 39. 3-man front Comes after Thomas Vaccaro with the blitz. Finds the underneath route. That's Klender. He's got it to 38. Slips a tackle to 35. He's got a first down before he's chased out of bounds at the 30. Ben Birch finally escorted him out. But how about that patience by Thomas Vaccaro and then the quick, nifty move by Klender.
Yeah, that was a great play by the Samford transfer. He stood in there and held the ball as long as he could, waited for Klender to come open underneath. They only needed 4. They pick up the first down. Excellent play by 13.
1st and 10 from the 30. Another gaping crease for Hunter Hogan inside the 25 to the 21. Cut down by Devin Glowicki. 7 more for Hunter Hogan. How about this, Jason? He already has 74 yards on 11 carries, and we're only halfway through the first quarter. Here's a option. Vaccaro will keep it around the end. He's got a first down. Sandwiched at the 20, or rather the 17-yard line. Logan Dable hit him first. Little first time we've seen Thomas Vaccaro run. Not necessarily his forte, but he shows some shiftiness there.
I was going to say, I don't think he'll get labeled as a running quarterback, but you got to keep the defense honest and doing enough there to move the sticks.
5:42 to go. Knights lead 7-0 on the move again. On 1st and 10 from the 18, Hunter breaks the tackle, bounces it out to the right, and he'll dash to the end zone for the touchdown. Hunter Hogan with an 18-yard touchdown run, and with 5:34 to go in the first quarter, Calvin is on top 13-0.
Well, sometimes, and most of the time so far in this game, you block it well. And sometimes it's not blocked as well, and your dude just makes a play. And that was Hunter Hogan right there. Hit in the hole, spins out of it, making a play that very few at this level can do. Hunter Hogan into the end zone. Incredible run. And hey, I know it's early. Calvin's got to be leading the country in offense at this point.
And points, that's right, that's right. On to attempt the extra point, Logan Knapp drills it through. 5:34 to go, first quarter, Knights 14, Falcons nothing. Back after this on the Calvin Sports Network here at 96.1 The Game. Michigan Sports Radio on WXSP.
At Garrett's Appliance, it's all about family, service, and excellence, just like Calvin. As a longtime local business, Garrett's knows the value of doing things the right way. For your home and your future. Thank you to Garrett's Appliance for supporting our student athletes and helping West Michigan thrive.
Oh, it's a twin.
Back here at Calvin University, the offense is rolling. Nice lead at 14-0. 5.5 to go in the first quarter. Rufino's high end over end kick is taken by Nick Kroll at the 7, right up the middle. Upended at the 28.
Bob, who had
Noah Funk.
Who had 69 minutes and 26 seconds into the season for Calvin to get 100 points? They're a winner.
Are we talking basketball or football?
Football, baby.
Bill Saul's basketball team would like that output, that's for sure. Today we'll be watching for our defensive player of the game, brought to you by Straight Line Fence. Straight Line Fence transforming properties across Michigan by crafting fences that provide sanctuary, security, and self-expression. Committed to care and craftsmanship, Straight Line Fence has earned a reputation as Michigan's most trusted fence advisor. From the 30, 1st and 10 for Concordia.
Please set the play clock to 25 seconds. Started on my signal, please. Thank you.
Let's set the rest of that Calvin defense. The secondary is Jair Nolan at the field corner. Alex Minahan is the boundary corner. The safeties are Kolanowski and Reed Vogler. On 1st and 10, Funk will roll to his right. He's got a man. First down up over the 40 along the right sideline. That is complete to Cameron St. Pierre. Kolanowski ran him out there at the 46.
Yeah, I like that play call from Concordia. They've struggled throwing from the pocket. Pressure, good coverage. That time, roll the pocket to the right and hit their big receiver on the out route in a nice route there to get the first down.
Funk's first completion and first down. Nice bring pressure, quick tunnel screen to Pierre. A lot of room along the left side numbers. Spins his way into Calvin territory inside the 40 down to the 37. Minahan and Gallo coming back from his DN spot now. Concordia with a little tempo of their own. 1st and 10 at the Calvin 37.
You see that athleticism, right? I mean, Sam Gallo, a guy they got, transferred in this year. You know how many times you see a defensive end making a tackle 20 yards downfield? Calvin's certainly looking more athletic than they did a year ago here early on.
Another key transfer is C.J. Sheets. He lines up at that left defensive end spot, transfer from Davenport. 1st and 10 from the Knights 37 is Concordia. They'll give it to Ashar Thomas. He is hemmed in right there at the line of scrimmage. Scrims for a couple. Martins hit him first. 2nd down at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, winning first down's huge, right? That was 2 consecutive first downs for Concordia on 1st down. That time Calvin wins 1st down, sets them up in 2nd down and 8. Much better situation if you're the Knights.
3 receivers split to the wide side, the right side. For Roman Funk, the Scottsdale, Arizona sophomore. With Ashar Thomas behind him. He'll stay in the block. Funk back to throw. Lofts it right sideline. Great catch down along the right sideline by Jason Leonard. He skied between Hubbard and Minahan and pulled that really high point of the ball to 16. Pulled it down for a big gain of 19 yards.
In my opinion, Jason Leonard is the best player wearing white. He had the eventual game-winning touchdown last year in this game. 2 touchdown catches last week. The Florida native's really good, and that's why Calvin's giving him all that attention. That was double team.
On 1st and 10 from the 15, Thomas probes the right side. Swallowed up there at the 13-yard line. Bolduc was first to hit him along with Nolan. Gain of, call it 3, 2nd down and 7, 3:03 to go. Calvin up 14-0, but Concordia driving here as we come near the end of the 1st quarter.
Yeah, that front 7 of Calvin's doing a good job. Concordia not able to run the ball so far, and you're going to have to be able to run the football. We've seen Calvin have success doing it. If Concordia can't run the football, it'll be a long day.
Knights rotate KJ Harp now in at nose guard. Thomas again on the handoff from Funk, and he is swarmed under back at the 16. Schnurstein got him, but it was C.J. Sheets, Jason, that turned that play in from his DN spot, and that allowed Schnurstein to make this tackle.
Yeah, it really was. It was Sheets, the Davenport transfer, and you were telling me earlier this week how good he is, and he showed it here, especially on that play. Beat the lineman, made Thomas get out of his routine, and the linebackers were there to clean it up.
3rd and 9 from the 15, the Calvin 15. 2 minutes to go here in the 1st quarter. Jacob Pugh now in the game behind Funk at the running back spot. He'll go to Funk's left. Pugh for the junior from Atlanta. Now 3 receivers out to the right. Funk back to throw. Wings it right side to Leonard at the goal line. Great defensive play down there by Paul Hubbard, the freshman, to deflect it away at the last second. 4th down and 9 for the Falcons.
Calvin continues to confuse Funk at the line of scrimmage. They showed blitz from 3 linebackers, only sent 1, but Hubbard, one-on-one in the flat there, made a really nice play. We'll get a field goal attempt.
Hubbard, one of the lone freshmen who's getting defensive action on the 2 deeps this year. The freshman from Birmingham Groves with a huge pass break up there. On to attempt the extra point, or rather the field goal after that incompletion, is Klein, and the kick is blocked. Calvin blocks the kick. It was a snap that was bobbled by the holder, and Nick Klein never really got it down.
Yeah, that all started with the snap. You know, he did his best to get it down, but tough snap there, and this momentum continues to stay in the maroon and gold.
Credit Reed Vogler, the freshman from Caledonia, I think knifed through there and took advantage of the bobbled hold. Calvin with a big defensive stop. They'll have it 1st and 10 at their own 20 with 1:45 to go. Leading Concordia 14-0.
Vogler, another freshman, getting some playing time. He was really good for Derek Pennington at Caledonia the last couple years. Played linebacker in high school, just a nose for the football. An outstanding safety here early on in his career at Calvin.
Knights now with Nick Earls in the game at running back. He had 3 touchdowns last week, and he slants over that right side for 6 yards.
Love the patience of the former Greenville Yellow Jacket there. You know, he didn't rush it. He waited for the block. Really nice run there by Earls.
Give him 7, 2nd and 3 from the 27. He's got it again. Dances to the right side. Tries to get any sort of a run to daylight. Bottled up pretty well by the Falcons. It was Darian Turner, the big defensive lineman. Jason, they're big up front on that defensive front. Turner, 265. Markeaton Sellers, 270. On 3rd down, Earls has the 1st down as he plunges ahead over the 30-yard line to the 35. Logan Hartman And Dylan Glowicki made the stop there, but again, it's the inside game. It continues to churn the yardage for Calvin with 40 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Vaccaro, play fake, guns at right side. He's got a wide open Klunder at the 45 along the sidelines, knocked out of bounds in Falcon territory at the 45. Omari Waldron dropping on that coverage. That left a lot of room for Jude Klunder.
Well, there's a flag down there. Jude Klunder, what a first quarter for number one. I wonder what this flag is. It looked like Klunder delivered the hit to the defensive back there. I'm just not sure what the call's going to be.
He had the first down. The ball right now is at the 44. It looks like it might go against Calvin perhaps after the play. Klunder now with 5 catches for 48 yards and a touchdown.
Did he say something? I didn't see anything. You know, it's interesting. We talk about
dead ball, personal foul, number 1 of the offense. That's a 15-yard penalty.
So it should be a first down.
Remains first down.
Should be a first down, but it'll move the ball back.
Correction, second down, dead ball foul.
No, it should be a
dead ball foul. Be a first down.
First down. Should move it back to the 41 of Calvin. We'll should have it first and 10 with 29 seconds to go.
These two schools obviously played last year. They're on the opposite sides of Lake Michigan from each other, but you know, I mean, it's college football. Motion's running high. Concordia, after their first down of the game, the receiver got up, putting his hand to his face mask like he was yawning. So these teams, they're dialed in here.
Let's set the rest of that.
The result of the play was a first down. Following enforcement of the penalty, first down.
Should be first and 10.
First and 10 at the 41. Set the rest of that Concordia defense. Jaden Lewis, 6'3", 235, sophomore from Milwaukee's number 90. Cole Cree, 6'1", 250 from Florida, number 92 on that front line. We'll also see Markeaton Sellers, a 6'2", 270-pounder from Louisiana. Interesting, out of the 22 starters, Jason, there's only 4 from Wisconsin on this Concordia team. It is a recruiting base that is national for Coach Greg Etter, particularly from Arizona and Florida. First and 10 for the Knights from the 41. Vaccaro fakes, now it's an RPO, swings it outside to Hogan, outside the numbers on the left sideline, fights his way up over the 45 to about the 46, pushed out by Khalil Hargrove Collins, and that's the way the first quarter will end. What a start for Calvin on this first ever football game on the Calvin campus, presented by Northwestern Mutual. The Knights lead at 14-0. We'll step aside. Second quarter coming up on WXSP 96 Won the Game and Michigan Sports Radio.
That concludes the first quarter of play.
The mission statement of our program is building champions for life. And I truly mean that when I say that. To me, there's 2 types of programs. There's transactional and there's transformational. And we are building a transformational football program here because we want our young men to leave prepared for the rest of their lives. And so when we talk about being champions, we talk about 4 different areas. In the classroom, in the community, on the field, and then champions of our faith. And all 4 pieces are so important to what we're doing.
22-6-4. Like I'll tell you.
Here today's game, we are looking for the Visser brothers' teamwork of the game, a key play where Calvin has planned, managed, and executed correctly. That's the Visser brothers' teamwork of the game, presented by Visser Brothers Contractors, where a team of dedicated project professionals knows how to maintain your construction process on schedule and on budget. Around the MIAA today, brought to you by NAI Wasinski of West Michigan, Michigan's largest independently owned commercial real estate firm. Albion visits Bluffton of Ohio. Alma hosts Denison. Kalamazoo entertains Bethany. Olivet has a home matchup against NAI opponent Madonna. Hope is at Franklin. Those all starting here shortly. Later tonight, it's Adrian welcoming Thiel College and Trine hosting Rose Holman. Any games stick out to you out of that group?
I like that Alma Denison game. You know, last year it was 38-30. How about this? Alma up 32-20 at the half in that one. Carter St. John, 2 passing touchdowns, a rushing touchdowns. How many years eligibility do they give that guy?
He is a preseason All-American in D3.
And deservingly so.
We'll see him up in Alma on October 4th.
Hey, before we went to break there, you were talking about the national recruiting reach of this Concordia, Wisconsin team. What do you think those Arizona boys think of Milwaukee in January?
Well, not only that, you got other kids from Florida as well. Greg Etter's done a really good sales job when he brings those kids to Wisconsin, that's for sure.
Hey, how about that last play of the first quarter? Nick Earls was in at running back, and we saw Hunter Hogan in the slot. And that's, you know, we're going to Calvin wants to do. They want to get Hunter Hogan in different spots, and they threw it to him there. They made it look like quarterback run, and then they threw it back to Hogan. So I think it officially goes in the books as a run play, but just different ways to get Hunter Hogan the football.
Nick Earls, who's in the game at that running back spot, had 81 yards on 11 carries and 3 touchdowns last week at Oberlin. 5 ball carriers from that RB spot for Calvin last week, and Earls and Hogan combined for over 200 yards. 2nd down and 4 as we start the second quarter. Calvin at their own 46. Quick tunnel screen to Hogan. Can't avoid. Oh, he does avoid. What a run by Hogan. He got out of the arm tackle there of the DB, Teddy Beckner, and salvaged what could have been a 2-yard loss, Jason, instead a 4-yard gain.
That might be the most spectacular 2-yard reception I've ever seen. I mean, Hogan was dead to rights in the backfield, somehow ducked through it. Not quite as good as that spinning touchdown run a few moments ago, but a heck of a play.
Hogan with 91 yards on the ground. He's caught 2 passes for 5 yards. 3rd down and 3. Vaccaro on a quarterback draw. He's got a 1st down as he lowers the shoulder and plunges over midfield to the 48. Big pickup by Connor Hogan, or rather by Tommy Vaccaro after Caleb Weichel was there to stop him at the 49.
We see that 3rd and short when they like to go to that quarterback run, both times successful.
Earls takes the handoff, dances over the right guard, and pushes the pile for 3 down to the 46. Another thing that's been impressive about this running game in the first quarter, there has not been one negative play. A couple of plays where the runner only picked up a yard or 2, but the push and the surge that offensive line is getting is really effective. From the 46, 2nd down and 7. In motion is Paul Bama, the H-back tight end. Instead, the handoff goes to Earls. He slips out of a tackle to 40 and falls forward down to the 37 for another Calvin 1st down. Logan Hartman saved a bigger gain there, and another 1st down for the Knights. 13 1st downs already for Calvin. Nick Earls on 1st and 10. Barrels off left tackle this time. Weichel spills him there at the 33, gain of 3.
You know what's interesting, Bob? Jude Klunder probably had the best first quarter, and a really good quarter for Calvin. He's not out there right now. They move him out of slot. They put Hunter Hogan in slot with Earls at running back. It's good to have options if you're Trent Figg.
On 2nd down and 7, Earls on a counter play, started right, cuts it back to the left along the hash mark, thrown down there by Caleb Weichel again. So 3rd down and 5. Fairly revamped defense for Concordia. New defensive coordinator Jeff Merritt taking over for Adam Walks, who was there for 18 years. They lost Justin Canetta, all-conference linebacker, so a bit of a new defense for the Falcons. 3rd down and 7. Vaccaro back to throw. He'll keep it around the right end. Tackled at the 30 by Huizinga, just shy of the 1st down. 4th down and 4 at the 31. Jason, what do you do here?
Yeah, you're gonna go for it. I mean, this would be a 48-yard field goal, which they could maybe make, but 4th and manageable here. That's the 3rd time we saw Vaccaro run on 3rd down. 1st time he didn't convert, but 4th and manageable here for Calvin.
Earls to his left, 2 receivers to the right. Vaccaro back to throw, has time. Now he's hit in the backfield and sacked back at the 36-yard line. Logan Hartman came off that defensive end, but that was really a coverage sack. Vaccaro with nobody to throw to.
Yeah, that's one of those ones where as a quarterback, you just got to have that clock, held it a little bit too long. That happens from time to time. Good coverage downfield from Concordia. If you're Calvin, hey, listen, you're up 14-0. Your defense has played well.
Fans, today we're watching for today's Baumann and DeGroat Player of the Game, presented by Baumann and DeGroat, where only the best heating and cooling systems are recommended for you with no upselling and no pushy tactics. That's the Player of the Game, presented by Baumann and DeGroat. Today's second quarter brought to you by Skipper No Strength Wealth Management, partnering with you to help unlock your financial potential and build your legacy. 1st and 10 from their own 36. Funk has time, straight back to pass. Got a wide open receiver at the 50-yard line into Calvin territory for a 1st down, and a big 30-yard gain is Jack Bradley, the sophomore from Tucson. Alex Minahan finally wrapped him up at the 34.
Zone coverage again that time from the Knights, and just a good route. Got behind the linebackers in front of the safeties, and a good throw from Funk that time.
Down 14-0, Concordia in Calvin territory. Funk to throw, quick out on the right sideline, complete to Cameron Pierre at the 30. Jair Nolan right there to escort him out of bounds.
Yeah, you don't see teams go after Jair Nolan much. That's just a quick out, short game, but Nolan really solid there, number one on the far corner for the Knights.
2nd and 6 from the Calvin 30. 3 receivers to the left. Jacob Pugh in the game off the left hip. He'll take the handoff and barrel his way up the middle to the 27, stacked up by Martins and a host of maroon shirts. Brings up a big 3rd down play from the 27-yard line. 3rd and 3, 10:50 to go. Here in the second quarter, Calvin up 14-0.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on, Bob. Jason Leonard not on the field. I see him standing over there on the sideline. He has not played here on this series. I mean, he's the guy you're going to if you're Funk in a situation like this, but he's not on the field.
Trips left from the right hash mark. Funk quarterback draw. He's not going anywhere. He's dumped behind the line of scrimmage. Paul Hubbard and Carson Schneerstein converged to sandwich him with that pressure from both sides.
Well, yeah, Hubbard and Schneerstein got in the huddle and said, let's meet at the quarterback. Interesting. Schneerstein, the inside backer, they moved him outside on that play, and he came crashing down. Nice job moving guys around.
4th down from the 29-yard line. Greg Edders, Falcons will go for it here. 2 receivers right, 2 to the left. Pugh, the running back. Pierre in motion. Funk back to throw. Here comes the pressure. He's got a man open over the middle. Caught and dropped by Watson at the 15-yard line. Kolanowski was there to level him, and the receiver heard footsteps. It is incomplete. Calvin takes over. 1st and 10 at their own 29.
Calvin a little fortunate there. That was an excellent ball from Roman Funk, and his receiver couldn't corral it. Kolanowski lays the big hit after the drop, and Calvin once again gets off the field. That time on 4th down after a pair of 3 and outs and a blocked field goal. Concordia 0 for 4 possessions.
Calvin takes over from their own 29. They have amassed already today 207 yards in total offense. And they've done it both through the air and on the ground. They lead at 14-0. On 1st and 10, Hogan back at the running back spot. Inside handoff. And he is stonewalled there at the 29. First to meet him was Cole Cree.
Yeah, Luke Mitchmerheisen has been on the field, I think, for every offensive Calvin play here, but we see McCoy Baxter check in at wide receiver for Seth Anderson. We've got Jude Klunger back in there at slot receiver. The Knights continue to rotate guys through here.
2nd and 10 from the 29. Vaccaro will roll to his right and hits Mitchmerheisen along the right sideline, pushed out of bounds immediately by Hargroves Collins, and that's the first time the big receiver's been targeted.
I was going to say, I like that play call. Normally you're not going to your big fella on a little 5-yard stop route, but he hadn't had a target yet. He had a catch. Let's get Luke going because he's a guy you want to get the football to. Let's get Vaccaro and Mitchmerheisen feeling good here.
3rd and 4 from their own 35 for Calvin. Vaccaro to throw. Here comes the pressure off the left side, and that forces a high delivery along the right sideline, incomplete for Mitchmerheisen. Collins Hargrove right there along with Glowicki, but the play was made from Caleb Huizinga, who came hard off that left edge and forced Vaccaro to throw it early.
I didn't know you could throw it too high for 6'7" Luke Mitchmerheisen. Dude can go up and get it. But you're right, the pressure there caused that throw to be just a little high.
Logan Knapp on to punt for Calvin. Kicked just 1 time last week for 49 yards. Averaged 39 yards last year and a solid punting job. He'll kick it deep to Kroll. And Leonard. Wobbly spiral fielded by Kroll at his own 28. Flag comes in. Rowan Stewart with a good special teams tackle on an angling Kroll to the right sideline. See what the call is here. 3 flags in on the play. This is the old Hanky Fest.
This Calvin defense has played really well. You know, the last 2 possessions, they've given up some, a little bend but don't break after they were really good on those first 2 possessions. But I think if you're Trent Figg, I think if you're Lamar Bell, you got to be happy with what you've seen from that group here because we know Concordia's got some playmakers. They got a good quarterback. They've really done a nice job on Ashar Thompson. We didn't see their playmaking wide receiver Jason Leonard on that last series, and I think that's a difference maker. But all in all, I like what I'm seeing from this Calvin defense here in this first quarter and a half.
Holding, receiving team, number 25. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick, 1st down.
Penalty marks it back to the 32, and that's where Concordia will take over. Time now for Know Your Knights, presented by Family Fare, with a location near you, including Baldwin Road in Jenison, the hometown store for sophomore all-conference Calvin linebacker Trevor Martins. That's Know Your Knights, presented by Family Fare. 107 total yards for Concordia here in the first half. Just 4 first downs. Funk 6 out of 10 through the air. And this big crowd again coming to life here, a sellout crowd at the Calvin Soccer Stadium. First football game ever on this campus. Terrific student section filling the north end zone. Beautiful facility that opened about 11 months ago. They dedicated it last year in October. And it is a absolutely gorgeous soccer facility, and not too bad for football today.
Not too bad. I'll tell you, Calvin's got 2 great soccer teams, and they deserve a place like this, man. This is state of the art. Great facility.
From their 32, 1st and 10 for Roman Funk. Quick drop, quick toss, complete to Kroll on a curl route at the 35. He's hammered right there by Gage Jones, who came up from that strong safety spot. Laid the wood on him at the 36, a gain of 4.
Yeah, you love the explosiveness of Gage Jones there. He saw it right away, was already on his way by the time the ball arrived. Excellent play from the safety there. Short pickup.
Jones, the sophomore from Ludington, 34 tackles. Got a lot of time last year in that secondary. 2nd down and 6 from their own 36. Funk with Thomas to his right, swings it out complete to Kroll, left flat, races to the sideline and pushed out of bounds by Schneerstein, who slid over from that linebacking spot. First down on a nice underneath route to Kroll.
Oh, that time they went away. Calvin's nickelback, Hubbard, was out to the wide side of the field, and they got their slot receiver one-on-one with the linebacker, and out that time. Long way for Schneerstein to go. Excellent schematic play that time from Concordia.
Trips right on 1st and 10. Here's a quick screen to Kroll again. This time he is just absolutely rattled at the 49-yard line. Gage Jones and Paul Hubbard. Boy, those safeties along with Kolanowski back in that deep secondary have been really active on the run support and short pass support.
Yeah, the secondary's been really good for Calvin. That was an area we were certainly going to focus on this year. They struggled at times in the secondary. Like what I'm seeing here early, long way to go, but Gage Jones from that safety spot. Paul Hubbard, who's kind of been in and out of the game in that nickel 3-4, doing a really good job.
Funk back to throw, has time, throws it underneath, and it's deflected at the line by big Matt Zimmerich. Number 94, 6'6", Jason, 6'6", 265. He's a former baseball player that decided as a freshman at Calvin he'd like to play football. Trent Figg said, yeah, come on last year, and he has developed big time.
Well, that was a big play from Zimmerich because Kevin Lunds was wide open coming on the drag route against the zone there, and if Zimmerich doesn't knock it down, he might still be running.
3rd and 8, Funk back to throw, complete to Jack Bradley at the 44. He's going to be just shy of the first down by about a yard. Minahan there to hold him up. A flag in on the play, though, coming from the far right side in the secondary.
Well, it's interesting. He had the first down, but he went backwards. So he is short of the first down. Obviously, we'll have to sort out the flag, but excellent pursuit from that Calvin defense there. This could be a potential 4th down situation, depending on the flag.
Holding. Defense, number 1. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. 1st down.
Yeah, defensive holding, and really, as you said, the flag came in from the non-play side, really didn't factor into the play, and gives the Falcons a free 10 yards, and that'll move the ball to the 34.
An interesting part of this game, right? Calvin's got the big crowd, first ever game on campus. They come out with all the momentum, 3 and out, touchdown, 3 and out, touchdown. All of a sudden now, Concordia's kind of settled in a little bit. They've kind of taken a little bit of control here. If they can get some points, man, we got a new ball game.
Officials still seemingly trying to figure out where to mark the football.
We've had a few of these today.
The penalty occurred before the pass. It's 10 yards from the previous spot and an automatic first down.
So they needed 5. They got 10. And it should be 1st and 10 from the 40 for the Falcons, and indeed it is. Funk last year started against Calvin in this game. He was hurt later in the year against Aurora. Justin Clark, also a quarterback from Arizona, replaced him. So those two really had similar stats splitting the season last year. But Funk won the job here as we started the 2025 year. 1st and 10 from the night, 40. Fake to Thomas. Funk rolls to his left. Here comes the pressure. The pass is complete along the left sideline to Jason Leonard. Slung out of bounds by Blake Heron. In the game now at linebacker. Kai Hanog not able to play today, so Heron from Caledonia getting his first key minutes in this second quarter.
And that time it's 4 linebackers on the field, no nickel. That time the linebacker bites a little bit on the play fake, and that allows the receiver to get open.
16-yard gain, 1st and 10 from the 24. Thomas has it, tries to get to the outside on the right side. Trevor Martin yanked him down there for a gain of a couple.
Yeah, I love the pursuit. I love what I'm seeing from the Calvin defense because Martin's got him first, but CJ Sheets right there to help usher him to the ground. Nice play that time. Calvin needs to dig their heels in a little bit here.
2nd down and 9 from the 23 of Calvin. 6:16 to go, 14-0 Knights. They scored the first 2 times they had the football. Since then, it's been a defensive battle. Play action pass, Funk to throw, has time deep down the right sideline. It's caught at the 5-yard line on a terrific grab by Nick Kroll right in front of Nolan. Good tackle by Nolan, but boy, for Kroll to hang on to that ball at the numbers on the right side was a great catch.
Yeah, it's a big-time play from Kroll, you know. They run Jason Leonard deep on that one. Kroll comes behind him, gets one-on-one, and makes a nice play.
Funk now 11 out of 16 on 1st and goal from the 5. They give us to Thomas. Barrels up the middle for a couple. One thing I like what I'm seeing, Jason, again, compared to last year. Calvin's a young program, right? Well, a year plus. The difference in the tackling on Ashar Thomas this year compared to last year, just night and day. Thomas is 5'9", kind of a bowling ball runner at 200 pounds. Last year in this game, he ran over Knights. This year, he's being hit and dropped on the initial contact.
Yeah, you know, the line of scrimmage is so important in games like this, and Calvin doing a good job, more than holding their own at this point, but a big spot to do it here.
2nd and goal from the 2. Concordia knocking on the door. Thomas has got it again, tripped up in the backfield on a good play by Schnurstein, then falls forward to about the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and goal at the 2-yard line. Inside of 5 minutes to go in the first half.
I love corners that tackle, Bob. Jair Nolan able to dive down and finish him off there. That's a big-time play from a guy. You know, a lot of times corners see run, they're just going to kind of hang out. Jair Nolan was right there.
Trips left. Bradley, Kroll, Lunds, Leonard on the right side, drawing man coverage from Nolan. Brown, the running back, on 3rd and goal at the 2. Funk straight back to throw. Here comes the pressure. He delivers it high over the end line, out of bounds, incomplete. Great pressure and good coverage by Calvin. No flags, and it's 4th down and 3.
Yeah, they got there with 3 guys. Calvin only brings 3. Isaiah Hill gets home to force a high throw, and Concordia, I think, is going to go for it again here after they had troubles with the snap last time on their field goal. They're going to go for this.
Greg Etter's going to take a timeout.
Charge timeout.
We'll step aside 2. 14-0, 4 minutes to go. Big 4th down play coming up here on the Calvin Sports Network on 96.1 The Game, WXSP, and Michigan Sports Radio.
You don't always see what keeps you comfortable, but you feel it. That's what Bauman and DeGroot brings to homes, businesses, and now Calvin Athletics. Thanks to their expert HVAC services, our facilities stay game ready year-round. Thank you, Bauman and DeGroot, for keeping us cool under pressure and warm when it counts.
This month in Calvin Athletics history, presented by Applied Innovation, highlights the 1995 women's soccer team that finished 17-0-1 and 11-0-1 in the league to capture the conference title. It was the first unbeaten season ever for Calvin women's soccer. That's this month in Calvin Athletics history, presented by Applied Innovation, connecting Calvin alums for 36 years. Jason Hunt, big fourth down, 4th and 3 if you're Greg Etter. And Kern White on that offensive staff for Concordia. Who do you call on?
You got to throw the football if you're Concordia. 12 yards rushing in this first half, Bob. I mean, I'm throwing the football to Jason Leonard. That's what I would do if I'm Concordia here.
Leonard split out to the right. Slot right is Nick Kroll. 2 receivers out to the left, including Jack Bradley. Now Kroll in motion to the left. Leonard Funk will roll to his left. Everyone covered, throws to the end zone. It's knocked away, incomplete. Alex Minahan deflects the ball, breaks up the pass, and for the second time today, Calvin's fourth down defense comes through with a big stop.
Listen, I understand Jair Nolan's really good, but you've got Jason Leonard one-on-one to the short side of the field after the motion. They roll away from him to the other side, throw into traffic, and boy, normally you say, hey, fourth down, knock it down, but that would actually benefited Minahan to pick it off because it would have came out to the 20, but nonetheless, an athletic play by number 3 for Calvin. How about the Knights defense? Coming up big when they have to on a third straight possession.
4:12 to go here in the first half. Calvin scored on their first 2 possessions. Since then, both teams have moved the ball. Calvin's defense has stiffened out a field goal attempt as they blocked one earlier, and now on a 4th down inside the 5-yard line, the defense holds. Vaccaro 1st and 10 from the 3. That gives to Earl. Earls cuts back left to right, bursts his way over the 5 out to the 10-yard line. Logan Hartman.
I tell you, Trent Fig and Ben Dixon must like what they see with Hunter Hogan at slot, Nick Earls at running back. I thought Jude Klunder was outstanding. Maybe we got to check on Jude, but yeah, he hasn't played much since that first quarter.
Fake to Earls. Vaccaro rolls to his right. He's got an open Hunter. Oh, it's picked off. Picked off by the Falcons. Teddy Beckner stepped in front of Hunter Hogan along the left sideline, picked it off and returned it to the 4. The first interception of the year thrown by Thomas Vaccaro, and I'm not sure he saw Teddy Beckner.
He must not have, because boy, it looked like it went right to him, and that's a big play for that Falcons defense. Boy, they needed something to happen, right? Since those first two possessions, the Concordia defense has been much better. Now they make a play, get their offense the ball back inside the 10-yard line. Concordia's got to take advantage here, get their first points of the game, and if you're the Calvin defense, they've come up big on these last 3 possessions. Can they find a way to do it again here?
1st and goal at the 5-yard line. The ball to left hash for Roman Funk. Bashar Thomas off his right hip. He'll fake the Thomas, throw a quick in route. It was deflected at the line, I think, by Martins, who was blitzing in, just got a fingertip on it. The ball falls incomplete on that quick slant route in the end zone.
Yeah, and this is just a product of Concordia not being able to run the football. I mean, you get the ball here, 1st and goal inside the 5. You got to pound the rock, but they can't do it. They haven't been able to run the football today. They try to run a slant that time, but Calvin's defense able to throw off the timing because of the pressure.
2nd down and goal at the 5-yard line. H-back is Frederick King. Now in motion to the right, Funk to throw, swings it out, and it's knocked away again at the line of scrimmage by Sam Gallo or Bolduc. One of those two got in to make that play, and it was a good thing they did because Thomas was wide open in the left flat.
Yeah, you know, Roman Funk is listed at 5'10". I love short quarterbacks, Bob. I was a short quarterback, but there's a reason that a lot of quarterbacks are 6'2", 6'3". You know, being 5'10", he's had several passes deflected tonight. Excellent play by the Calvin defense.
3rd down and goal for Concordia at the 5-yard line. Ball at the left hash, 3 receivers out to the wide side, the right side. Funk straight back to pass, has time. Now here comes the rush. He's running to his left. He's going to take off and go, and he gets to the left pylon for the score. Roman Funk with good awareness, finding an open seam on the left side as they flooded the field to the right, and that left a lot of space on the left side.
That was just a really good play by Roman Funk. I mean, nobody open. The pocket finally broke down, and he just said, I'm going to use my athleticism and get to the corner here. Excellent play by Roman Funk. A lot to ask your defense. And Calvin's defense has been on the field a lot here in the 2nd quarter, and they've been backed up with their back to the goal line. So finally, the Falcons break through.
3:28 to go here in the 2nd quarter. Nick Klein on for the extra point. Snap is good, spot is there, and it's 14-7 with 3:28 to go. We'll take a break. When we come back, Tommy Vaccaro and the Calvin offense back on the field. You're listening to the Calvin Sports Network on Michigan Sports Radio. 96.1 The Game and WXSP, presented today by Northwestern Mutual.
Whether it's a first savings account or a mortgage down the road, Lake Michigan Credit Union is there every step of the way. As a proud sponsor of Calvin Athletics, LMCU is investing in what matters: student success, strong communities, and a bright future for all. Thank you, LMCU, for helping our student athletes and our neighbors dream big and bank smart.
Concordia has halved this score. They trailed 14-0 with the majority of the first half, but that interception by Teddy Beckner and a return to the 5-yard line set up a very short field. And on a 3rd down and 5, Roman Funk takes it in for the score. And with 3.5 to go in the first half, it is Calvin doubling up Concordia 14-7. Klein's kickoff is going to sail to the left sideline, and I believe Hogan called for a fair catch, or did he not, Jason?
He did not.
He did not. He stepped right on the line.
That's a mental error. That's a mental error for Calvin. I was just going to say this becomes a really important possession for Calvin here. I'm not saying they have to score points, but they got to at least, they need to keep their defense off the field for this final 3:28. Calvin needs to possess the ball for this final 3:28. If they get points, it's a bonus, but their defense has been on the field too much, and you're right. I guess he did call for a fair catch. Good catch, Bob. They're moving it out to the 25, so that's different, and that's better for the Knights.
That Falcon scoring drive presented by Paris Motors covered 5 yards in 3 plays, consuming just a minute. Find your next drive at Paris Motors, a fantastic selection of used cars to meet your specs and budget here in Grand Rapids. 1st and 10 for Thomas Vaccaro. The give is to Hogan, dances, tries to get to the right edge, and does, gets a good block from Klunder, and then is chased out of bounds at the 37. Jude Klunder with a really good downfield block. Glowicki finally escorted him out.
Yeah, well, it's back to the full first-team offense. The offense we saw score those touchdowns on those first 2 drives. Klunder back in at slot. He got the big block. Hogan back in at running back. Nice job by Klunder, and a nice job by Hogan running behind it.
Mishmerheisen still only targeted 1 time. On 1st and 10, Hogan works the right side, picks up 3 to the 39. Huizinga was there to bring him down, along with Birch. Check that on Duncan Ireland. 2nd down and 7 at the 39. Carter Bowsma, the tight end to the left. Play action, here comes the rush. Vaccaro running for his life on the right side, throws it along the right sideline, incomplete for Mishmerheisen. Good heads-up play by Vaccaro, but they're going to say that he was down back at the 31.
Yep.
That's a big call.
Runner is ruled down on the play.
Cole Cree gave chase.
Bob, I think I know the answer to this question, but go ahead and educate me. Do we have replay today?
We do not. That would be close.
That was close.
Was his knee down?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that was no question. A heads-up play by Vaccaro to try to get rid of it, but he had touched the ground. So 3rd and 15 from their own 31 now. 3 receivers out to the left. Vaccaro back to pass. Sets up the screen to Hogan at the 35. He's got it. Gets a block over the 40 to the 45. He's got a 1st down at the 49. Still on his feet into Falcon territory at the 48. What a great call and an equally better run by Hunter Hogan.
Yeah, I love the call. Andrew Bird really good on that block, and then Wynton Napier downfield escorting Hunter Hogan into Falcon territory. That was a big-time play from the Knights.
And we have come to the 2-minute timeout. We'll take a break. 2 to go here in the first half. It's Calvin 14, timeout. Concordia 7, presented by Northwestern Mutual on the Calvin Sports Network.
You don't always see what keeps you comfortable, but you feel it. That's what Bauman & DeGroot brings to homes, businesses, and now Calvin Athletics. Thanks to their expert HVAC services, our facilities stay game ready year-round. Thank you, Bauman & DeGroot, for keeping us cool under pressure and warm when it counts.
What I've learned in my 4 years at Calvin University is that believing in yourself means a lot. In your job, in your church, on your team, that belief that you have is what's going to motivate you to become.
I showed up to Calvin feeling like I was stepping into something I didn't know much about. Calvin taught me to go beyond waiting for the next big moment by jumping at day-to-day opportunities. Even mundane moments can be filled with beauty and purpose. Calvin University, go beyond.
What I've learned in my
Bob Sack and Jason Hutton back here at Calvin Zeidema Field. 2 minutes to go here in the first half. Calvin up 14-7. They have it 1st and 10 at that Concordia 48. Handoff is to Hogan. Blasts his way behind the left guard to the 45. And this is where clock management here, Jason, will be important. You want to move the ball, but not too fast. See if a score opportunity can occur in the final seconds of this first half. 2nd down and 7 from the 45. 2 receivers out to the left. Hogan on a delayed handoff finds daylight off left tackle and spins his way inside the 40 down to the 35. Darian Turner.
This is where the tempo that Calvin likes to run really comes in handy. I mean, it's not an adjustment when you're basically in the 2-minute offense most of the time anyway. You get really good at it.
Against the 3-man front, Vaccaro swings it out left flat to Klunder. He tries to work his way away from a defender. Dropped at the 30 by Huizinga. Picked up 4. 2nd down and 6 at the 30. 1:15 to go here in the first half. Vaccaro with quick tempo gives to Hogan again. This time he is wrapped up and thrown right down at the line of scrimmage. It was Logan Dable.
Well, now maybe you don't hurry too much, although they are, because it's 3rd down here. 55 seconds left. You got a couple seconds to play with.
3rd and 6, Vaccaro to throw. He's flushed out, a roll to his right, looking downfield. Now he'll tuck it and go inside the 25, and he should have enough for a 1st down to the 22. Good presence by Thomas Vaccaro. And an injured Falcon down on the field.
That's the 3rd time Tommy Vaccaro has ran for a 1st down on 3rd down. Again, we talk about him not necessarily being a running quarterback, but he can do enough to make...
Injured player of the defense. There is no option for a 10-second runoff. The clock was stopped.
Injured Falcon being tended to. In today's game, we'll be looking for our Energizing the Nights player who gives Calvin a key lift in the game. It's brought to you by Playa Bowls, located at Celebration Village by Knapp's Corner in Grand Rapids. Playa Bowls is perfect for your morning boost or lunch break dream. Enjoy delicious super fruit bowls like acai, mango, and coconut, plus smoothies and more. Playa Bowls, your favorite acai shop. Calvin's next home football game is Saturday, September 27th. Here at the Calvin Soccer Stadium at 7 p.m. when the Kalamazoo Hornets come to town, presented by Denoyer Automotive Group. Whether or not you have a ticket and the game is sold out, come to the stadium and enjoy FanFest, an interactive event beginning at 4:30 p.m. with music, pregame talk from Coach Fig, crazy games, marching band performance, night walk access, food and beverages, and live video coverage of the game. All sponsored by Playa Bowls, Chick-fil-A, Spartan Stores, and Fast Signs. A lot of fun out there this morning, and I hope to see you out there in a couple of weeks.
Is that homecoming?
That is homecoming.
Homecoming
yes.
On campus.
On a Saturday night.
Exciting.
It's anything like the Saturday night game last year that you and I did down in Kalamazoo, which went down to the final seconds.
The final play, yeah.
Should be a dandy. But first, we got a good one here. 14-7, 45 seconds to go. Knights lead. They have it 1st and 10 at the Falcon 22-yard line. Hogan off the left hip of Thomas Vaccaro. Out of the gun, back to throw, takes and dumps it underneath, complete to the safety valve. Hogan, who slipped out of the backfield. 1st down inside the 10. Nice, again, check down by Thomas Vaccaro to find Hogan.
Yeah, really good job by Hogan, too. He was in to block that time to help with protection, and play breaks down. He just kind of turns around, and Vaccaro finds him.
From the 10, 1st and goal, Vaccaro back to pass, throws over the middle, and it is caught for a touchdown. Caught for a touchdown. It was tipped in the end zone. Jude Klunder came down with it after Caleb Weichel got a hand on it. Klunder has his 2nd score of the game, and Calvin extends their lead to 20-7.
Wow.
Boy, that was Vaccaro avoiding disaster there.
He is fortunate on that one. That pass should have been picked off, and how about Jude Klunder on the tip drill, the concentration to come down with it. That is an early leader for play of the game. Incredible.
Logan Knapp on to attempt the extra point. Kick is up, and it is good.
Well, they did not hold the ball for the final 3:28 of the game, but they did go 2:59 and get points. So I'd say a very successful offensive possession for the Knights after they had three that were, well, they weren't touchdowns. Let's say that.
Stay tuned for today's halftime show built by Insignia Homes and True Kitchens. It's packed with great stuff, including a quick word from Trent Fig in the first half, along with first half stats and analysis. We'll look at an amazing Calvin alumnus and our special guest, former Olympian and Calvin's national champion cross-country coach, Brian Deemer, stops by today. The 2000 national champion team was honored in the first quarter, and he is on hand today. It's all ahead on today's halftime show built by Insignia Homes. Whether your next project is an urban renewal in the city, a remodel of the family lake house, or a new country estate, the Insignia Home teams is here and eager to help you achieve your dreams. Sal Rufino's high end-over-end kick will hit and just trickle into the end zone. 1st and 10 for the Falcons after the touchdown catch by Jude Klunder, his second one of the game.
Tell you what, that was fortunate for the Falcons right there. That ball just barely creeping into the goal line. It's a live football. If it had not fallen in, somebody would have picked it up. And we talked about the play by Hunter Hogan and the fair catch. You know, he could have let that bounce to see if it went out of bounds. But if it takes a weird hop, you know, it's live football. So I called it a mental error. I was clearly wrong. Excellent play by Hunter Hogan that time. And Concordia avoids disaster on that kickoff.
See if the Falcons and Greg Eder try to march down the field here. They have 2 timeouts left. Funk will give to Ashar Brown. Big hole, or rather Pugh, big hole, but Caden Bulldog slid over from that defensive end spot. Cut him down right at the 36, and I think Greg Eder's going to let the clock go here.
Pretty good half for the Knights, huh? I mean, 21-7. 3 touchdowns after a really hot start. They kind of took control of this game back here late in the second quarter.
Last play of the first half. Pugh's got it again, slams his way over the right side. Dropped at the 40 by Stierstein. That's the way the first half will end. Calvin up 21-7 in a terrific first half. Today's game is brought to you in part by Educationist, the world leader in study abroad programs. Educationist brings hundreds of international students right here to Michigan. Enrich your family and change a young person's life by hosting an international student. Learn more at educationist.org. Hope to be joined by Trent Fig here momentarily. Stay tuned for the halftime stats and analysis from Jason Hutton, brought to you by Advantage Commercial Real Estate. Advantage Commercial Real Estate is your experienced commercial real estate advisor in West Michigan. Trent Fig being corralled there by Jeff Phoebus, and we got him on. Coach, are you there?
I'm right here.
All right, hey, great first half. We talked earlier in the week about how important it was to get off to a quick start. What were the keys to that quick start in the first quarter?
Yeah, you know, we talked to our guys a lot about being physical. I thought our guys came out well. We had a little lull there. We talk all the time about how the Knights can't beat the Knights, and that's what we got to do. We got to eliminate the takeaway. We have to get the takeaway. We got a big second half coming up.
What'd you see in that first half that allowed you to have so much success running the football up the middle?
Yeah, I mean, our offensive line is doing a great job. Our running backs are getting downhill, getting vertical.
Coach, you hold them to 28 rushing yards, 2 yards per carry. How big has that been? How do you keep it going?
Yeah, it's big. We just have to continue to preach focus. Every single snap, every single play, physical focus.
All right, thanks. Good luck in the second half.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Coach Trent Fig with his Knights up 21-7 as we head to the break. For busy student athletes, getting your wisdom teeth pulled can seem like a big deal. The Center for Oral Surgery and Dental Implants makes it a comfortable experience. With locations in GR and Rockford, they can also help with dental implants and tooth extractions. For great oral care when you need it, visit GrandRapidsOralSurgery.com for more information. Welcome to the halftime show presented by Insignia Homes and True Kitchens. When we return, we'll take you behind the scenes of an outstanding Calvin alum. That's all coming up on the Calvin Sports Network. Today brought to you by Northwestern Mutual on 96.1 The Game, Michigan Sports Radio, and WXSP TV.
The coach just put you in the game. Everything is on the line. Are you ready? Just like a winning team needs a strategy, your finances need a game plan. At Skipper and Osterink, we're your financial coaches. We strategize together, striving to adapt to every financial play. Your victories are our victories. Our goal is to help you be successful. Join the Skipper and Osterink team. Your financial success is our focus.
To know Christ is to know suffering. It was in my deepest, darkest moments of my life that I think I was able to glimpse a little bit of God. I realized that being in such an intensive, immersive musical experience made me happy, and it gave me more confidence in myself and in my voice. Redeeming every square inch for me now means creating great music programs on a strategic level that impacts many people. The most personally rewarding venture is starting the first professional symphony orchestra in the city of Bandung. Now I know that music can change lives. This happens one person, one heart, and one precious moment at a time.
I've wanted to be a teacher since I was in preschool. As a teacher, I know that I am called to not only make an impact on the students that I teach, but to help them come up with creative solutions to be change agents themselves that Calvin has instilled in me to be an agent of renewal in this world. And how can they help be a problem solver? How can they creatively come up with solutions to better not only the space that they are involved in, but the space that others are involved in as well?
In its most simple sort of definition, metrology is the science of measurement, which is simple in stating, but actually is very complex in terms of actually accomplishing. The GPS, it shows that I'm sitting in the living room within 6 feet of where I am. That measurement requires us to measure time to within a billionth of a second. The ability to measure something well gives you a level of trust in what's happening in the world. You trust that when you go to the gas station and you buy a gallon of gas, it's actually a gallon. That level of trust allows you to understand the world and to function. So I got my math and physics degree from Calvin, went on to graduate school in Maryland, and then postdoc at Johns Hopkins Medical School, and then got my job at what was then the National Bureau of Standards and became the National Institute of Standards and Technology. So I've held a lot of different positions at NIST. Started as a bench scientist, worked my way up through management chain, eventually became acting director for a while between administrations, and now I am the chief metrologist. So I am the person who's supposed to be watching over the core measurement program of the National Institute of Standards and Technology. It's a great privilege to interact with people from around the world, literally from many, many, many different countries. And you can see that we're all God's people. We're all working towards a universal goal. In 2018, we redefined the International System of Units. It was a major change. 67 countries that had signed the Treaty of the Meter all agreed unanimously to make the change. It's not very often you find that sort of agreement amongst the countries of the world these days, but it is good to see that, you know, people are people. As I get older and I'm sort of fading into the end of my career, what's really rewarding is to see the projects that I had a hand in starting, sometimes a decade or more ago, where a scientist came to me and said, I have an idea, and I was able to put a little bit of resources towards it, and then to see how those things have now blossomed into just truly amazing developments and advances. Well, certainly the science and math classes prepared me for my career technically, but I think the liberal arts part of the Calvin education prepared me in a lot of ways that I didn't expect as a scientist, sort of to be able to think through a problem very carefully and objectively in terms of defining what the problem really is and where we wanted to go with it. And of course, my faith that God is in control has been very important. I didn't plan to end up where I ended up. In fact, there were lots of times in my career where opportunities presented themselves and I wasn't sure I even wanted to do it. But I could see that God had put this opportunity in my path, so I decided I would go for it, and if it happened, then that meant God wanted me to do it. But I actually think there's something involved in measurements and in metrology that's very biblical. There's a lot of references in the Bible to fair trade and fair measurements and being fair to people. The fact is, there is a good answer to most technical questions. And you can trust it. And it's because God made the universe the way He did. So the more you probe it, the more you measure it, the more you understand it, the more you appreciate the beauty of it. And it really just makes it clear that God created everything, and He did it very precisely.
It started with one survivor, one person that I wanted to help. Her name is Delynn, but she had a debt issue that we had to resolve. And working with pro bono legal counsel, we were able to do that. I saw the difference that it made in her life. And I thought, if she has these kinds of legal needs, certainly other survivors do as well. My name is Nate Napper. I'm a 2008 graduate of Calvin University, and I'm currently a special agent with the FBI. I'm also an attorney, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Joseph Project. I'm of the opinion that there is no reason why every single human trafficking survivor in need of legal services shouldn't be given those services free of charge. And the idea was to connect them with pro bono legal help so that they could resolve that legal collateral damage and move forward into a brighter future. And I'm happy to say that we've connected with over 300 survivors of human trafficking. I'll always remember the moment that I learned that one of our survivors, Leslie, had been pardoned by Governor Gretchen Whitmer of all past crimes associated with her trafficking. Michigan's first ever survivor of trafficking to be pardoned by a sitting governor. Criminal charges cleared. Working as a collaborative team, every single charge was resolved. Those are the moments that stick with me. And usually, it's funny, it always has to do with others. It usually has nothing to do with me. And I think that's, another point where Jesus was right all along. That was a beautiful result. And it reminded me, that I've always resonated with the idea that we could be agents of renewal, right? That we could work and cooperate alongside the vision that God has for the world, that we can usher in the kingdom of God in some ways right here, right now, with the people that we are immediately surrounded by if we're just willing to follow Him in obedience. I love that notion. So it's nice, right, to be recognized. I appreciate it, certainly. I give the credit and I give the praise to God. And I would be remiss if I didn't talk about my parents and how I would say the deep level of sacrifice that they made. It's a lot. I just appreciate the fact that they lay some of their own dreams down to make sure that I could live mine. You're willing to submit to His path in obedience, dream the dreams that He would have you enact for the world. I think that you'll go places that you would never imagine going.
The mission statement of our program is building champions for life. And I truly mean that when I say that. To me, there's two types of programs. There's transactional and there's transformational. And we are building a transformational football program here because we want our young men to leave prepared for the rest of their lives. And so when we talk about being champions, we talk about 4 different areas: in the classroom, in the community, on the field, and then champions of our faith. And all 4 pieces are so important to what we're doing.
Where will the next revolutionary idea come from? That next breakthrough in scientific research? At Calvin University, you can dream bigger, think deeper, aim higher. Our world-class faculty push students to keep asking hard questions and never settle for the status quo. Become part of a university that challenges students to go beyond as Christ's agents of renewal in the world. Calvin University, go beyond.
I showed up to Calvin feeling like I was stepping into something I didn't know much about. Calvin taught me to go beyond waiting for the next big moment by jumping at day-to-day opportunities. Even mundane moments can be filled with beauty and purpose. Calvin University, go beyond.
Biggie's Sports Grill, your next destination for any occasion.
With incredible entertainment and amazing food that makes you want to come back for more.
Where family memories are made.
Where sports are enjoyed and friends gather.
Cheers to good times, great friends, and a place where the game is always on. Only at Big E's.
Welcome back to Calvin University. It is halftime here on the halftime show presented by Insignia Homes and True Kitchens. 21-7, the Knights up over the Falcons here at the half. Calvin scored the game's first 2 touchdowns to take a 14-0 lead. Concordia scored midway through the second to trim the margin to 14-7. And then Calvin with a late touchdown to take a 21-7 lead. 2 TD passes today from Thomas Vaccaro to Jude Klunder have sparked the Knights' offense. Here at halftime, it is a pleasure and an honor to be joined by a true athlete and running legend in the state of Michigan. Brian Deemer with us. He is the former cross-country coach at Calvin, but before that, an incredible career, NCAA champion at the University of Michigan, Olympic bronze medalist, and just a host of honors that have made him truly one of the state of Michigan's finest and most celebrated runners in history. So, Brian, welcome back to campus, here today for the 2000 cross-country team and the celebration of their national championship. But first, I got to ask you, you're a football guy. You graduated from Michigan. It's like you can't not be a football guy, right?
That's right.
What is this like? What's the impression of all this to you? Calvin football on campus today. What's it been like for you to experience it?
Yeah, this is exciting. This is wonderful. I'm very happy for the Calvin community. This is amazing. You know, I'm standing up here in the press box looking out over the trees that are starting to show some color. I've been on this campus coaching 36 years. I never saw it from this view.
34 straight conference championships with your team, if my number is correct. Or is it 42? There's different ways that you can look at it. But regardless, an incredible run. Today you're back on campus celebrating the 2000 team that won the national championship. What do you remember about that team? What were some of the performers that you just think back with great memories about?
Well, that was 25 years ago. I can't believe that time has flown by. But that team, made up of a number of guys, Dan Hoekstra, Joel Kloster, Justin Momini-Frender, Paul Peterson, and others, just really knew how to get the job done. We had talked just a couple years before, we're never going to win a national title. If we took all of our best runners in all the years that we coached, put them on the same course on the same day, we still wouldn't beat North Central. And this year, in the year 2000, these guys, we got it done.
What was the most enjoyable memory of this morning's reunion event and the story that just makes you smile the most?
Well, seeing all these guys back and, hearing their stories and hearing about their kids and what they're doing. Joel Kloster flew in from Europe. He was on business in Europe. He flew back to be here. And you know what? We start up just like that, with the stories and the memories. It's just so much fun to be back together with them.
Brian, big fall for you as well in ways that are so appropriate. You have been honored as a member of the Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame previously, but this fall, 2 more honors for you. You go into the University of Michigan Athletic Hall of Fame, which is an incredible feat, and also you are inducted into the U.S. Track and Field Coaches Hall of Fame. Now, all these years have gone by. What do these honors and these inductions mean to you?
It's kind of weird that it's all happening here in these few months. But, I was never in it for these kind of honors. When you're in it, you're in the thick of things, and you're just doing it for the kids and doing it for the team and doing it for the school. And, years later, if you are blessed to still be around and part of things, maybe you'll get recognized. But it has been a true honor. This past Tuesday, I was called and told that I was being inducted into the Coaches National Hall of Fame, and that was a surprise to me, and that was really quite something.
Well deserved. Congratulations. Thanks for stopping by and spending some time with us. Enjoy the time with that 2000 National Championship team and revel in the memories of all the great years you had as a coach here at Calvin.
Thank you, Bob.
Brian Deemer joining us here at the halftime show. 21-7, Calvin leads. The Insignia Homes and True Kitchens halftime show rolls on. When we return, Jason Hutton will join us for a look at the first half stats and a look ahead to an exciting second half. That's all coming up on the Calvin Sports Network.
I was really interested in weaving together those 3 ideas of medicine and business and engineering into one kind of cohesive thing, because I've started a company to help make low-cost devices for low-resource settings. And so I've developed the Billy Roo The Biliroo helps treat neonatal jaundice for infants in low resource settings, and it stemmed out of my experiences in Nepal of there being limited phototherapy access there. And so I've developed this device to help treat babies in the way that the parents can be the most involved while harnessing the use of the sun to help treat their jaundice. So the heart of why we created the device is because 1 in every 10 neonates worldwide suffers from moderate to severe jaundice. 6 million infants every year don't have access to the necessary phototherapy treatment to treat their jaundice. I think the mission of Calvin relates really well to my life purpose. I'm so grateful that I chose Calvin because of its integration of faith and academics together, something that the other schools I was looking at didn't have.
Night Nation. Today's game is brought to you by Capital and Risk Management Services. Since 1987, they've partnered with our community to provide financial and risk solutions that keep your future secure. Whether you're planning ahead or protecting what matters most, they're here for you. Connect with Russ Clausing at 312-458-4523 to learn more. Capital and Risk Management Services. Strategic solutions, pursuing a secure future.
Welcome back inside the halftime show built by Insignia Homes and True Kitchens. Bob Sack alongside Jason Hutton after a first half that saw Calvin start quick, take a 14-0 lead, yield a touchdown midway through the second quarter to Concordia, and then score late in the first half. Today's halftime stats brought to you by Advantage Commercial Real Estate. And Jason, you look at that sheet, you look at the stats, what jumps out at you?
Well, we've talked quite a bit about the rushing yards. Calvin outgaining him 165-28. That's huge. You know, they held Oberlin a negative 56 yards rushing last week. Obviously, 28's more than that, but still very good. And the other one is the third downs. I mean, Concordia just 1 for 6. Calvin 6 for 8. If you convert 75% of your third downs, you're going to win a lot of football games.
Those are the key Advantage Commercial Real Estate stats. Advantage Commercial Real Estate, your experienced commercial real estate advisors in West Michigan. Individually, Hunter Hogan with a massive first half.
Yeah, Hogan's been outstanding. 123 and a touchdown on the ground already. We've only played 30 minutes. Jude Klunder, 7 catches and 2 scores. He's been really good. I think Thomas Vaccaro's been just outstanding. 13 if he did throw the interception, which led to the only Concordia points, but 13 out of 15. He's also ran the ball in important times, 3 times for a first down. So outside of the one bad pass, he's been outstanding.
And that was a pass that, in retrospect, I'm not sure if Vaccaro saw Teddy Beckner sneaking in the flat, and that caused the interception and set up the only Concordia score. It's been an outstanding, really, performance on both sides of the ball for Calvin's defense. Knights won the opening toss and deferred to the second half, so they will take the football to start the second half. Nick Klein has it teed up, and we're set to go here. As Calvin, I'm sure, Jason talked in the locker room about the importance of coming out strong here in the first 4 minutes. Kind of like the new trend in football, right? The last 4 minutes of the first half, first 4 of the second. Calvin needs to excel in both. High end over end kick, taken at the 25 by the Knights. And that was Gage Jones, the defensive up back, returning that kickoff out to the 35-yard line. 1st and 10 there for Calvin. Yeah, Vaccaro, 13 out of 15. That's some pretty good numbers. Last week at Oberlin, he was 17 out of 26 for 189, and he has picked up right where he left off.
Yeah, let's see if Calvin doesn't just go to this ground game. We'll see Chase Slagers for the first time at running backs. We did not see him in the first half. Look, a little pistol eye.
Hogan in the backfield with Slagers. Slagers takes the handoff and tries to find daylight on the left side. Can't do it, though, as he is ankle tackled by Duncan Ireland, who knifed through there to make a good stop. I'm sure Greg Etter and the defensive coordinator, Jeff Merritt, extolling their defense to get a stop here to start this third quarter. 2nd down and 10 from their own 35. They give us to Slagers again. Ireland wraps him up at the line again. Nothing over that left side. So some early adjustments, perhaps, by the Concordia defense has Vaccaro in a passing situation, 3rd and 9 from his own 36, just underway here in the third quarter.
Yeah, the Falcons coming out here saying, hey, listen, we're going to fill the middle. We gave up way too much in that soft belly. We're going to make Calvin get the edges because they ran it too easily up the middle.
Fake the jet sweep to Hogan. Big hole up the middle for Vaccaro into Concordia territory at the 48-yard line as he darted through that hole. Those inside linebackers flooded towards the jet sweep. Left a huge gap there. Omari Walden finally able to bring him down, but a first down by Thomas Vaccaro. The third down conversions continue.
And that's Vaccaro's 4th time running for a first down on third down for Calvin.
On 1st and 10, Slagers nothing doing. Big Mark Keaton Sellers and Duncan Ireland wrapped them up and spilled them back at the 49, a 3-yard loss.
Back to that third down, I like that play call because after 2 unsuccessful run middles, Concordia's thinking, hey, you're going to go outside, you give him jet motion, and then you run it right under it.
Mishmerheisen split wide to the right that gives to Hogan on that jet sweep. He tries to get to the edge, instead turns it upfield, gets back to the original line of scrimmage at the 49, a gain of 3. It was Cole Cree sliding over to make that stop.
So it's 3rd and 11, right? Calvin, with that last third down conversion, goes to 7 for 9 on third downs, but I would bet this is their longest yards to gain on a third down today, 3rd and 11.
2 receivers split wide to the left. Bilesma the H-back. Vaccaro straight back to pass, has time. Now he's flushed out, throws it left sideline. I think it was tipped at the line of scrimmage by Dable. The ball one hops to Seth Anderson along the left sideline. It'll be 4th down, and that'll send in the punt team on 4th down and 11.
Yeah, really good protection that time. The offensive line continues to play at a high level. Just nobody for Vaccaro to throw it to that time. Boy, I tend to look the way of number 18 in those situations, but he tried to go the opposite way, and unfortunately for the Knights, they're going to have to kick it away. Nice job by the Concordia defense.
18 being Luke Mishmerheisen. He's only been targeted 3 times today after his 8 catches last week. Team leading 48 last season and 5 touchdowns. Drake Irwin on to punt. He's a rugby-style kicker, drives a nice spiral right down to the goal line. It just gets in the end zone. And it'll be a touchback. Change in punters. Irwin, the backup quarterback, more of a rugby punter. Trent Figg likes that changeup instead of Logan Knapp, particularly from that point in the field, which probably meant, Jason, he's considering maybe a run pass option at times on a fake punt.
Well, that's you got to make him think about it, right? I mean, does Concordia realize that's the backup quarterback that's in there at punter, and certainly gives you options now in a different situation, maybe even not even later today, but in another game later this season.
From the 25, 1st and 10 for Roman Funk. He has a Ashar Thomas off his right hip. 2 receivers to each side. Now Nick Kroll in motion. Bolduc shows blitz off the right side. Knights rush 5. Here comes the rush. Pass is complete over the middle to Jack Bradley. He's got a first down at the 35.
Another good route from Bradley. Been really impressed with these Concordia receivers. They're really deep at that position. Their guys run good routes. They had the one drop, which was a big play on 4th down in that second quarter, but they've been sure-handed in most of the plays this afternoon.
Last coverage by Reed Vogler, the freshman from Caledonia, from that safety spot. 1st and 10 from the 35. Funk straight back to pass, wings it right side outside the numbers. Falling down catch by Leonard in front of Minahan at the 40-yard line.
That's such a long throw. You know, you're throwing from the near hash all the way to the far numbers, and just Roman Funk couldn't quite get enough on it to give his receiver a chance to stay on his feet and run after he caught it.
Still picked up 5, so 2nd down and 5 from the 40. Knights with a 3-man front. 3 linebackers. Paul Hubbard in at the nickelback on the field side. 2nd and 5 again. Funk straight back to throw. Lofts it high over the middle. It's too far. Picked off by Minahan at the 25-yard line. Alex Minahan intercepts the ball. He cuts back across the field from left to right, down the right sideline. He's got blockers ahead. One guy to beat at the 25. Sheds a tackle. Cuts back inside at the 10 and is finally caught at the 7-yard line. What a interception and return by Alex Minahan. It was Roman Funk, the quarterback, finally chasing him down, but how about that interception? The ball was just overthrown, Jason. Minahan had great coverage and just chased down the lofted, high-arcing pass and then made a great return.
Well, a lot to talk about here. Minahan,
this is a foul for blocking the back, number 1, Calvin. It'll be down and 10.
First of all, Minahan playing that the way you're taught, right? You have to get deeper than the receiver. And he was in excellent position there. Ball overthrown, played the ball beautifully. How about the block by Paul Hubbard? I mean, he just laid down that Falcon would-be tackler. Incredible play. And boy, what a run by Minahan. He must have run 100 yards there all the way across the field and 5 yards short of a pick six.
Alex Minahan had a punt return for a touchdown last week at Oberlin, 49 yards. So he's got that ability, very similar, weaving his way and transversing back across the field. Great run all the way down to the 10-yard line. First and goal to go for Thomas Vaccaro. Hogan out of the pistol is his running back. 3 receivers, 2 to the wide to the left for Vaccaro. Turns, gives to Hogan, met right there at the line. Cole Cree hit him first. And that's been a pretty noticeable difference here, Jason, in the third quarter. Calvin's great success up the middle in the first quarter and second quarter on the run game has been stifled thus far in the third quarter by
officials timeout.
Concordia.
Injured player of the defense.
Injured player. And we'll take a quick break. Calvin up 21-7, 10:50 to go here in the third quarter on the Calvin Sports Network, brought to you by Northwestern Mutual.
The coach just put you in the game. Everything is on the line. Are you ready? Just like a winning team needs a strategy, your finances need a game plan. At Skipper and Osterink, we're your financial coaches. We strategize together, striving to adapt to every financial play. Your victories are our victories. Our goal is to help you be successful. Join the Skipper and Osterink team. Your financial success is our focus.
Today's third quarter is brought to you by Skipper and Osterink Wealth Management, providing personal financial strategies tailored to your goals and lifestyles. Fans, today's Calvin Women's Sports Report is presented by Lake Michigan Credit Union. Last May, sophomore distance runner Sophie Bell captured the national title in the 3,000-meter steeplechase at the NCAA Track and Field Championships. A native of Denver, she's the first woman to capture that title for Calvin. This fall, she leads the two-time defending MIAA cross-country team into the 2025 campaign. That's Sophie Bull. This week's Women's Sports Report presented by Lake Michigan Credit Union, where our members love to earn more when they save and pay less when they borrow. Second down and 10. Hogan takes that handoff at the 11-yard line, spun down behind the line by Ben Birch on a good play by the linebacker. So it's third down and goal at the 10-yard line.
All right, listen, Concordia is just filling the box, right? I mean, the safeties are playing close line of scrimmage. They have made it clear you're not going to run the ball between the tackles on us like you did in the first half. This is a situation where I would throw it up to Luke Mitchmer-Heisen. He's 6 feet, 7 inches tall. You're going to get one-on-one down here in the near side. Give him a chance to make a play.
On third down, the give is to... That's Caleb Dabowski in the game now with that slot back on the jet sweep, and the Falcons diagnosed it perfectly. Matt Pachonsky knifing through there to make the stop for a loss of 4. So that brings on Sal Ruffino for a 31-yard field goal attempt out of the Tate Dome hold. Ruffino last week was 1 for 2 on field goals. Did hit his career long, a 42-yarder. This would give Calvin a 3-score lead. Snap from Stewart to Dome is good. The kick is on its way, and he drilled it. Sal Ruffino with a 31-yard field goal to extend Calvin's lead to 24-7 with 9:18 to go here in the third quarter.
Well, that's... You go to a 3-score lead, which is big, because now you can start counting possessions here left in this football game. But, boy, you'd like to hope for more if you're Calvin there. You got the interception return all the way to the 5-yard line, and you go backwards on 3 plays. Remember, Concordia's only touchdown of this game was on a 5-yard drive after an interception. Calvin had a chance to match it there, but they only get 3. Nonetheless, still in a good spot, up 17.
That scoring drive summary presented by Paris Motors covered just... Well, 0 yards and 4 plays, consuming 2 minutes. Find your next drive at Paris Motors, a fantastic selection of used cars to meet your specs and budget here in Grand Rapids. If you're coming to Grand Rapids for a Calvin home game or any other university event, your home for accommodation is the Hilton Garden Inn, less than 1 mile south of campus. And while you are there, catch all the games on the big screens at Big E's Sports Grill. 9:18 to go, 24-7. Ruffino's kickoff, beautifully placed. It's going to hit and bounce, and just trickled into the end zone. There was no fair catch called for, Jason. If that ball would have checked up kind of like your 9-irons and your wedges from 192, if that would have checked up perfectly, Calvin could have jumped on that football.
You want to know what's funny about that, Bob, is I'm actually better at spinning back the driver than I am the wedge. I can't figure it out.
At any rate, it is a touchback, and it'll be 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. Watching for today's Pietro's pass interference play. Pass interference on Concordia results in a 15-yard penalty in the Knights' favor and a 15% off your pizza order this weekend from Pietro's. 1st and 10 for Roman Funk. Sends Kroll in motion. Fakes the give to Pugh. Swings it out to Kroll. He's got it along the right sideline outside the numbers at the 27. Reed Vogler crunched him right there for a short gain of 2 yards. Jason, those passes to the wide perimeter seem like they just take a long time to develop. Calvin's done a great job just diagnosing and getting there quickly.
Yeah, it's that pursuit. That's what stood out to me about the Calvin defense today, is the way they pursued the football, and that's what they did on that play there.
Funk fakes the jet sweep to Kroll, then keeps it right up the middle, up over the 30 to about the 32. The bottom of that Calvin pile was Vogler again. Caledonia freshman's been active. Big 3rd down here, 3rd and 2 from the 33. Probably a bigger 3rd down for Concordia right now.
Yeah, huge play for Concordia. You can't put your defense back out there. Your defense just did a really good job after you threw a pick. And now a chance for Calvin here to get off the field. 3rd down conversions have been huge.
Falcons trail 24-7 with 8:17 to go. Quick drop, Funk guns it left side. Complete to Kroll again. Works his way over the 35 for a 1st down at the 38.
Well, that's just a really good job by Roman Funk, you know. Paul Hubbard came on the blitz, and what you got to do as a quarterback is you got to throw it where the blitzer's coming from, and that's what he did and got the 1st down.
Golanowski up to make the tackle for Calvin. 1st and 10 from the 38, inside of 8 minutes to go. Funk sends 3 wide receivers to the right. Back to pass, guns it on a slant. Trevor Martins just threw up his hands, and the ball went right into his biceps. Falls incomplete to the ground. Good reaction by Martins. Knew he wasn't going to get to the quarterback on the blitz, so he raised his arms.
Yeah, that's how they teach him, right? You're not going to get to the quarterback, get up. Calvin's, is that the 4th or 5th tip ball tonight by that Calvin defense? Doing a really good job against the 5'10 quarterback.
Said it earlier, quarterbacks, you like them to be a little taller, and Funk is fairly diminutive at 5'10". 2nd down and 10 from the 38. Funk back to throw, has time, swings it right side. He is hit as he threw it. Bashar Brown caught it in the right flat and then is swallowed up by Trevor Martins and Caden Bolduc. He lost 5 on that play.
Wow, they bring Bolduc off the side. The left tackle comes out to get him. That opens that hole. Schneerstein just came right inside, forced the quick throw. And again, Trevor Martins just waiting for it. Big play by that Calvin defense.
3rd down and 14 at their own 34. Concordia's offense desperately needing to stay on the field, trailing by 17. Knights and prevent defense. Back to throw is Funk. Throws complete to Jack Bradley at the 40, but he is wrapped up quickly at the 42 by Vogler again, along with Hubbard. Boy, those 2 guys have been really good here on this series. The freshman DBs coming up big, and that'll force a punting situation for Concordia. 4th and 5 from their own 43.
Yeah, I think they thought about it, because 43, 4th and 5, down 3 scores here, middle of the 3rd quarter, but your defense has played really well in this 2nd half. I think the right move here is to kick it. Look for your defense to get another stop.
Golanowski back at his own 22, awaiting the kick of Nowatarski. Good rush. Almost blocked it, but it's a high, short, end-over-end, fluttering kick. Golanowski calls for a fair catch at the 32. First and 10 there for Calvin. Here's score updates from around the MIAA, presented by NAI Wasinski. of West Michigan, providing all facets of commercial real estate services. A couple of games later tonight, Adrian hosting Thiel and Trine hosting Rose Pullman under the lights, but 5 games going on.
Albion and Bluffton headed to overtime, tied at 32. Alma beats Denison 53-27. Hope currently leading Franklin 31-7 at the half.
1st and 10 from the 32. Vaccaro on the handoff to Hunter Hogan, starts right and checks back left and pushes his way to the 34 for a couple. Ben Birch has been really active here in the second half. Number 33, the junior linebacker from Grafton, Wisconsin. Again, one of the few Badgers cheese guys on this team. On 2nd down, Hogan tries to bounce an inside handoff out to the left. Birch is there again to hem him in at the 32. And unlike the first half, we're seeing some negative rushing plays here in the second half for Calvin's ground attack.
Yeah, I like the design of that play. They start Carter Bilesma, the tight end, in the slot to the right. They bring him in motion and they run behind him. There's just too many guys to block because the Falcons are walking their safeties up here. You're going to have to make Vaccaro throw it.
3rd and 11. Vaccaro hit as he throws deep down the left sideline, intended for McCoy Baxter, incomplete at the 40 of Concordia. Drew good coverage from Omari Waldron back there, and a quick 3 and out for Calvin after forcing the punt on the last Concordia possession.
Hey, one other score in the MIAA, just underway second half. Madonna leading Olivet 24-14.
That's an NAI school knocking off Olivet.
Oh, there's still time. But at the moment.
Logan Knapp on to kick. He has twin safeties to boot it to. Jason Leonard and Nick Kroll standing at their own 30. Falcons back off. Short kick, and it's fumbled and recovered by Calvin at the 43. Hunter Hogan, who else? Or is that Blake Heron or Hunter Hogan?
Yeah, it might be Blake Heron. I think it is Blake Heron. I don't know why Hunter Hogan would be on punt. You're right, it was Blake Heron.
Kroll and Leonard just converge, kind of like a left fielder and a center fielder, Jason, converging on a fly ball and colliding. And as they did, the ball fluttered loose, and Blake Heron was right there.
Yeah, it's a huge play for Calvin. I was thinking as the play was developing, smart play by Concordia. So often you see those high, shorter punts, you let them fall, and then they bounce the wrong way. You got to catch the punt, but you got to catch the punt. You got to communicate, and they ran into each other.
1st and 10 from the Falcon 43. Vaccaro straight back to throw, gets time, throws it right sideline, too low for Mishmerheisen at the 40. One hops it to him, incomplete. Hargroves Collins on the coverage for Concordia.
I got to believe Calvin's setting up something with Mishmerheisen because they keep throwing those quick stop routes to him. At some point, they're going to do a pump and go. But you got to have a little better protection if you want to run that play. Yeah, look at 8 in the box. We're showing linebacker pressure. Now they've dropped back. Yeah, but Vaccaro's going to adjust.
3 receivers out to the left for the Knights. 4 receivers have caught balls today for Calvin, led by Klunder 7. He's got it again on a quick out, but this time it is diagnosed beautifully by Concordia. They drop him right at the line of scrimmage. Devin Glowicki, who had a couple of interceptions last week against Thiel in Pennsylvania, right there to make the stop. 3rd and 11 at the 44.
You know, it's interesting. Most of Vaccaro's passes are going toward Klunder. You know, we see Mitch Morrison a handful of times, but not much to McCoy Baxter, not much to Seth Anderson, not much to the tight ends.
3rd and 11 from the 44. Here comes the blitz. Vaccaro will roll to his right. Lofts it right sideline over the head of Klunder at the 40. Incomplete. And Tommy Vaccaro could not convert that 3rd down. Max Mashansky on the defensive coverage. Trent Figgs said this week that Vaccaro a little bit nervous last week. Hadn't played a competitive football game really in a couple, 3 years. He was the backup third quarterback at Samford, so never got into a game, not since his days at Christ Presbyterian High School in Nashville had he seen meaningful minutes. Taking him a while to get back into this a little bit. Think J.J. McCarthy last Monday in the NFL game.
Yeah. Sorry about the Calvin offense just out of sync right now. You know, first half they're running the football effectively between the tackles, and that does wonders for your pass game, but right now, not getting much of anything going.
Logan Knapp's punt is grabbed along the right sideline by Kroll at the 12, and he motors his way up the right sideline to the 27. That's where Concordia will start. And beginning Tuesday, September 30th, join me and Calvin head coach Trent Figg for Inside Calvin Football on 96.1 The Game and Michigan Sports Radio. We'll be live from Big E's Sports Grill on East Beltline and be joined by players, coaches, and dozens of Calvin fans. That's Inside Calvin Football starting Tuesdays, September 30th at 7 p.m. from Big E's on East Beltline. Concordia needing to muster some offense. They trail 24-7 with 4.5 to go here in the third quarter. They'll send Lunds in motion, fake to him on the jet sweep, Funk to throw. Now they swing it out. Right flat complete to Lunds along the sideline. Ushered out of bounds by Vogler again. Reed Vogler's play sideline to sideline has been really good here in the second half.
Yeah, he's made a smooth transition to safety. You know, he moves well. He's an excellent tackler. He's played really good here for these first, game and 3 quarters into his college career.
He, along with Minahan, Hubbard, Kolanowski, and Nolan, make up that defensive backfield. Second and 7 from the 30. Funk again, short pass right flat to Jacob Pugh. He's got some room, busts his way over the 35 near a first down. Good form tackle by who else? Reed Vogler again.
Yeah, well, Funk's doing a nice job. You know, Calvin's blitz had been effective for the first half, but that's the second straight time now they've blitzed off the edge with the outside backer, and he's thrown right at it and converted a first down.
Vogler with just 2 tackles last week in Ohio. He is much more than that here this afternoon. First and 10 from the 39. Funk straight back to throw. Throws down the underneath route complete to Cameron Pierre. Breaks the tackle of Kolanowski at the 45 and fights his way right to midfield. Good reception and run by Cameron Pierre, and he is down.
Officials
on
timeout.
the field off that
Injured
hit.
player of the offense.
3:09 to go. 24-7. Calvin on top. We'll take a break on the Michigan Sports Radio, 96.1 The Game and WXSP. Brought to you today by Northwestern Mutual.
Big E's Sports Grill, your next destination for any occasion.
With incredible entertainment and amazing food that makes you want to come back for more.
Where family memories are made.
Where sports are enjoyed and friends gather.
Cheers to good times, great friends, and a place where the game is always on. Only at Big E's.
Tonight's upcoming road trip has Calvin heading to Tiffin, Ohio next Saturday for a 7 p.m. kickoff at Heidelberg University. That's Fueling the Nights. Powered by J&H Family Stores. Starts your next trip at J&H Family Stores located throughout West Michigan and beyond. First and 10 after that completion to Pierre, who's walking off under his own power. Funk back to throw, guns it right sideline, complete to Jason Leonard. Tried to make a move on Kolanowski and then slipped at the 48, a gain of just 2.
That's again just another long throw. You throw the out to the wide side of the field, and you like the idea of getting the ball in Leonard's hands and letting him do something with it, but Turf Monster got him.
5th catch of the day for the leading receiver for Concordia, just Jason Leonard. Second down and 8 from the 48. Funk, quick screen out here in the left flat, complete to Nick Kroll. Flag comes in. Could be a face mask on Calvin, as Kroll's been shifty when he catches the ball. Caden Kolanowski was over to make the stop. They're going to call holding on the wide receiver.
And we've seen both teams try to get the ball on the perimeter and run behind the receivers blocking. And for the most part,
Holding.
both teams were...
Offense, number 13, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Second down.
For the most part, both teams' receivers have done a nice job out there on the edge, but that time Lund's just got a little too much jersey, and that's a drive killer. Now you're in 2nd and 18. So if you're Concordia, you need to get, 7-8 yards here and make this 3rd and manageable.
How many snaps can you get as a wide receiver if you prove yourself as a good downfield blocker?
Yeah, all of them. For sure. The way the spread offenses run these days, and the way you want to get the ball in the bubble, and receivers who can block are valuable.
Second down and 18 from their own 42 with 2 minutes to go, down 24-7. Concordia needs some yardage here. Funk will take the shotgun snap, roll to his left, and then heave it along the left sideline. Incomplete. Caught over there by Austin Guard, the offensive line coach, with a good grab. Draws a nice rousing applause from his players.
Those old line coaches always have good hands, don't they? I don't know.
I'm going to guess that's one of the few catches Austin Guard has had in his illustrious offensive line career. Third down and 18 from their own 42.
Yeah, it's a screener draw, right? I mean, if you're Concordia, you're down 3 scores. We're nearing the end of the third quarter. It'd be interesting to see if Calvin brings any pressure.
3 receivers out to the left side. Jacob Pugh, the running back to Funk's left. Funk will throw, guns it over the middle, complete to Mason Knipple at the 50. Dropped immediately by Schneerstein. And it'll be 4th down and 9. Mason Knipple with his first catch.
Well, now you're going to go for it. No, I think they're going to punt. I'm shocked here. They make it 4th and 8 on the plus 48, down 24-7. I know your defense is playing great in the second half. Boy, I'd go for this one, Bob.
Notarski on to kick. Kolanowski standing back at his 15. Pretty, on the whole, Jason, pretty good tackling by the Calvin secondary after receptions. We haven't seen receivers really spin out of too many tackles. Short, low kick. Fair cut by Kolanowski at the 17. And that is where Thomas Vaccaro will set up shop.
Yeah, that's something you look for, especially early in the season, is your ability to tackle, because less than ever, teams tackle in practice. Nobody tackles to the ground anymore in practice. So you always wonder a little bit just how well you can tackle. So excellent point. They have done a nice job, has Calvin. I mean, defensively, the only points for Concordia in this game on a 5-yard drive. The Knights have been outstanding on in that unit.
From their own 17, 1 minute and 16 to go. Vaccaro will run the option to the right. Pitches to Hogan. Outside the numbers, tackled by Glowicki at the 24. Picked up 5. That's a new wrinkle in the offense. We haven't seen that option play. And Thomas Vaccaro, who has shown a threat to be able to run the ball, has to be respected. So he was, and pitched it to Hogan, a nice 5-yard gain.
Well, that's the adjustment. I mean, late in the third quarter here, but Calvin trying to get the edge instead of run middle. Now they'll go right back to the middle.
Inside handoff to Hogan. Big hole over the middle. He's out across the 30 to the 34. That's a first down for Hunter Hogan. Caden Huizinga made the stop.
Big Wint Napier that time. You got the numbers advantage when you're Calvin. Got to play to the edge of the previous one and open up a little hole there, and we haven't seen that since the first half.
Handoff to Hogan. Dances to the left. Able to fall forward to the 36 for about 3. He now has 129 yards on 25 carries. It's 2 straight 100-yard games for Hunter Hogan. But I think, Jason, what surprises me is the workload today. 25 carries.
Yeah, it's impressive. And you know, but 20 plus of those have been between the tackles. Hunter Hogan's not a huge dude, and I bet we're going to see quite a bit more of that in this final 15 minutes.
Third quarter comes to a close. It was 21-7 at the half. It's 24-7 now, thanks to a field goal from Sal Ruffino. Calvin's defense continues to rise to the occasion. They'll get that chance in the fourth quarter coming up. Calvin up top over Concordia, 24-7 on the Michigan Sports Radio Network. 96-1 The Game and WXSP. Brought to you by Northwestern Mutual.
The best part of grad school would be the connections that you make, not only with your cohort, but with the professors as well.
I felt very supported, and I don't feel alone in the program.
I just really feel like each individual in the program gets a relationship with the professors in a different way that's meaningful to them and is more geared to them.
I'm a grad student at Calvin University.
Yay! Okay.
Bob Sack with Jason Hutton, as we start the fourth quarter, Trent Fig and his Knights wanted to get off to a hot start. They did. They led 14-0 after their first 2 possessions. It's been sort of a slugfest since then. Concordia scored in the second quarter. Knights have added another touchdown and a field goal. They lead at 24-7 as we start the fourth on a 2nd and 7 play. Hunter Hogan corralled there in the backfield, fell forward for maybe a yard. Markeaton Sellers, the all-conference D lineman, hit him first. 3rd down and 6 for the Knights at their own 37.
Well, here we go into the final 15 minutes. 3-score lead. Calvin likes to go fast. Now, you don't want to go quite as fast. So the mark of a good team here would be, can they slow it down a little bit?
Free play as Vaccaro drew him offside. He'll
got
loft
pass
it
interference.
Left sideline, intended for Seth Anderson. He was wrestled to the ground before the ball got there by Omari Waldron. That's going to draw a flag at the line of scrimmage and one in the secondary. Calvin will decline that offside penalty. They'll take the pass interference, and it's a 1st down.
Yeah, remember in the first quarter, Vaccaro was upset because he didn't get the free play on the contact by the nose tackle. That time he got the free play, and they take advantage. And honestly, a pretty good play by Waldron because it's only 15 yards in a college game and not a spot foul.
Offside defense, number 97. That penalty is declined. Pass interference, defense, number 9. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic 1st down.
Paul Bauma into the game now as the tight end. Trent Fig wanted to get the tight ends a little more involved today. Bilesma caught a pass early on a drag route, but other than that, it's really been quiet with the tight ends. We'll see if they go to him, he being Bauma, on this drive. But it's been really good blocking by Wyatt Young, Winton Napier up front, along with Andrew Berg and Bryce Steinbecker, and of course Michael Lick at the center. Seth Anderson now split to the left. Mishmer Heisen Klunder out to the right on 1st and 10 from the Concordia 48. Gives to Hogan, big hole up the middle inside the 40. Busts his way into the secondary. He's got one man to beat at the 25. He gets to the outside and pushed out of bounds by Khalil Hargrove Collins. Shifty running there by Hunter Hogan, but a really good hole up the middle again.
Yeah, I like the adjustment there by Ben Dixon. You know, they've struggled to run the football in this second half. That time you false pull. Napier goes from his left guard position through the right side, and they run left, and it was a big play for Hunter Hogan.
Hogan's got it again on 1st and 10. Oh, what a jump cut at the 15-yard line. He'll run to the right pylon. Touchdown! Hunter Hogan. Calvin Knights score again on a beautiful 19-yard scamper from the sophomore from Ravenna.
That's special. That jump count was special from Hunter Hogan. I'll tell you what, of his 2 touchdown runs, I don't know which one was better. That first one, he was hit, spun, got out of it, ran right. That time, boy, that jump cut was pretty.
He had a little crease up the middle, Jason, and as he hit the linebacker level, just absolutely left one of the linebackers in the dust and sprinted towards the right pylon and a TD. 30-7, Calvin rolling over Concordia here in the second half as Logan Knapp boots it through with 13:49 to go in the fourth quarter. We'll step aside. That Calvin defense comes back on the field when we return on the Calvin Sports Network.
He's too small.
Calvin University Athletics offers summer sports camps in 15 different sports for kids in elementary school through high school. Calvin Summer Sports Camps are sponsored by Power Strict Training Systems with 6 locations throughout West Michigan, with specialized training programs for high school and college athletes, plus customized training for adults over 40. Power Strict Training System is West Michigan's comprehensive athletic training center. Check them out today at powerstrengthpro.com.
I hear they're pretty good, Bob.
I will attest to that, Jason.
I hear.
You are absolutely right. I can speak from experience. 31-7. As Ruffino's high end over end kick is taken by Kroll, and he is absolutely ripped down by Paul Hubbard at the 25. How good has Paul Hubbard been today?
Outstanding. You know, they got him out of a great program. Birmingham Groves has been really good the last few years. And boy, a freshman making an impact, special teams, that nickel back. I think Calvin's been better in that 3-3-5 today with Hubbard. You know, he can blitz, he can cover. Been really impressive, 29 in maroon.
From the 26, 1st and 10 for Calvin, 31-7. If there was any question whether last week's 88-6 win over Oberlin had validity, that has been answered by this Calvin Knights team here this afternoon. 3-4 defense shown by the Knights. Inside handoff on 1st down to Jacob Pugh, and he is swallowed up by that Knights defense. Charlie Garbowski first to meet him there. Good to see Garbowski back at the game. He was hurt in this game last year against Concordia and really missed most of the season, so he's now back in as a backup linebacker. The transfer from Finlandia College, one of the lone few seniors on this team. Sam Gallo, transfer from Concordia Ann Arbor, in at right defensive end now on 2nd down and 9 for Roman Funk. Trips left, ball at the right hash. Jacob Pugh, the running back. Knights show pressure. They'll bring 5. Funk back to throw. He's being chased and fires it out in the right flat, complete to Pugh, who had stuck out. Dumped immediately by Bolduck at the 28. Picked up 1 or 2, and it's 3rd down and 8.
Yeah, tough spot for Pugh. He's sliding because he slipped, and Bolduck just lays the shoulder right into the chest. Pugh gets up a little bit slowly there. Caden Bolduck delivering the blow here. 3rd and long. Calvin, I got to imagine they're going to come after Roman Funk here.
Knights show 3-man rush. Here comes McCullough and Schnurstein from the inside. Tunnel screen to Leonard. He caught it at the 27. Slipped down immediately in front of Bolduck. 2 straight plays where the receiver over in that right flat lost their footing. Calvin will take it. A loss of 2. It's 4th and 9 at the 27.
Yeah, again, just trying to figure out where the blitz is going to come from, and they sent Schnurstein and McCullough, and he had to get it out quick, and that's just on 3rd and long, too tough. At this point, Concordia just going to punt, and Calvin will get a chance to go to work on the clock.
Golanowski back to field, the punt at the 35. Let's give him some credit. He has been sure-handed back there. You talked about that a little bit earlier on the fumbled punt by Concordia. On the other side, Caden Golanowski has made smart decisions in that punt safety role. Punt nearly blocked by Earls. It's fielded by Golanowski outside the numbers on the left side. Scoots his way up the left sideline into Concordia territory. 1st and 10 from the 47. Great short field for Thomas Vaccaro.
No, I mean, I thought Caden Golanowski, nice job to field it on 1 hop so you don't give up any more yards. I thought he was just going to grab it, get a couple, and get out of bounds. Nope, he cut it right upfield, got every yard he could get. Well, that's the toughness of Caden Golanowski. And Calvin starts in Concordia territory here. The plus 47, you got to believe we'll see a heavy dose of number 7.
He, being Hunter Hogan, has carried the football 29 times today. I'm going to guess that's a Calvin school record. I don't think anybody was near that last year. On 1st and 10 on cue, he's got it. Probes his way on the right side of that line and stacked up at the 45, picked up 3. Caleb Weichel first to hit him.
Great day, huh, Bob? I mean, big crowd, first ever on-campus game.
Helmet came off during the play. Defense must leave the game for one play.
Team showed up, right? Played well.
Boy, they did. They did. It was it has been a really on both sides of the ball. And your point earlier, a 5-yard drive is the only Concordia points today. Vaccaro fakes the quick pass, now looks deep over the middle. He's got a wide open Seth Anderson at the 20-yard line, but airmailed it, and that would have been 6. Weichel had retreated back from his linebacker spot, but boy, Anderson found the seam, and the Rockford sophomore was seeing the end zone just a little high from Thomas Vaccaro.
The foot's on the gas, man. Foot on the gas. Calvin going with the pump and go there, trying to really put this thing away up 24 in the 4th quarter. Boy, that was an opportunity missed.
11:06 to play in the 4th quarter. Vaccaro wishes he had that one back. Gets the signal from the sideline. On 3rd down and 8 from the 45. He'll take the shotgun snap, roll to his right, has time. Now he's going to tuck it and go, and chased out of bounds at the 42 by Jack Bloomquist. And an interesting situation here, a 4th and 4 from the 42.
Yeah, you punt, play field position. Your defense has been great. You're up 24. You didn't want to go out of bounds there either, although the clock does restart after the ball's marked ready for play. With no sign of the punting unit, I'm shocked. I think you kick it here.
See if a hard count tries to draw them offside. Bylsma split out. They go empty on 4th down and 5 at the 42.
Oh, if it's quarterback draw, it's not going to be good.
Vaccaro, quick drop. Here comes the rush. He eludes it. Shifts his way up the middle. He's got a first down at the 36-yard line. Thomas Vaccaro with some nifty running. And that Calvin sideline erupts on the 4th down conversion.
Well, you got to love the moxie of Vaccaro. He missed a wide open Seth Anderson. That time, boy, they brought 2 right up the middle, and he had nobody open, and he found enough room to move the sticks.
Injury to the defense.
Injured Falcon down on the field. That is TJ Mitchell. Chance to tell you that Calvin's next home game is Saturday, September 27th at 7 p.m. when Kalamazoo College pays a visit. It's presented by Denoyer Automotive Family. Whether or not you have a ticket, come to the stadium. The game is a sellout, but enjoy Fan Fest, which is an interactive event beginning at 4:30 p.m. It'll include music, pregame talk from Coach Fig, marching band performance, night walk access, food and beverages, live video coverage of the games, all sponsored by Playa Bowls, Chick-fil-A, Spartan Stores, and Fast Signs.
Well, this has been impressive. You know, we hear all the time about improvements from week 1 to week 2. But what about improvements from year 1 to year 2, right? Calvin's, it's early, you know, but they look like a better football team. Certainly a big question answering today. I think next week would be another opportunity just to see how far they've come.
On the road at Heidelberg next week, which is a good team in the Ohio Athletic Conference. Play fake. Vaccaro has time, now backpedals and lofts at left sideline to live another day. Out of bounds, incomplete. 2nd and 10. Today's 4th quarter is brought to you by Skipper No Strength Wealth Management, retirement planning that seeks to deliver the outcomes you deserve.
Really surprised. I mean, I guess you got to mix it up a little bit. Calvin throwing on 1st down there. It's been a pretty fast-moving game, but breaks kind of getting pressed here a little bit in this 4th quarter.
Anderson and Clunder split to the left. Vaccaro takes the shotgun snap, gives to Hogan. Well, he can't find anything on that off that right tackle, so bounces it and gets to the edge, turns the corner, and finally brought down at the 30 by Teddy Beckner. Pretty good at making something out of nothing. We've seen that many times today.
He is, and you and I have talked often about the east and west running versus the north and south. And what I liked that time for Hogan, even though he was bouncing it outside, when he had to, he lowered the shoulder and got forward up and down as much as he could. And he gained, what, 6 yards?
3rd down and 4 from the Falcon 30. Vaccaro, run pass option. He's got a wide open Bylsma on a slant route over the middle at the 15. But again, he threw it just out of the reach of the big tight end. Tommy Vaccaro wishes he had that one back.
Yeah, he did a great job on the first part of that. He read perfectly. He had Bylsma open. He just missed him. Just a little off on a couple of passes today. You know, that'll come early in the season. Like you said, first time really playing since high school. He's done a lot of good things today as well.
He really has. He's got a 4th and 4 again from the 30. This time they keep Hogan in the backfield. Here comes pressure. Vaccaro has time, though, and he's going to run again. Tucks it, has a 1st down, and slides in at the 22. In front of Glowicki and Nichols. How many times? You've said it. What, 6, 7 times he's run for a 1st down?
I think it's 6. I think that was the 6th time. And what has he got, 10, 11 carries? I mean, boy, it's been impressive. Making plays when he has to.
On 1st and 10 from the 24, Hogan's got it again. He breaks a tackle behind the line, gets to the left sideline. He's busting down the left boundary all the way inside the 10, down to the 6-yard line. He broke a tackle from Mason Stark, the DB who had come up on run support. Ben Birch finally chased him down.
Officials timeout.
That's going to put Hunter Hogan over 200 yards rushing in this game. That's the first time that Calvin's had a 200-yard rusher, right, Bob? I mean, you would know better than me.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. There's a timeout, and I think it's an official that was shaken up down on that sideline. Go back to, I think, one of the biggest plays, and we've got a slew of awards to hand out at the end of the game, courtesy of Jason Hutton, but one of the big plays And certainly our Detroit Wing Company winging it pass play of the game was that touchdown pass in the second quarter that made it 21-7. Vaccaro found Klunder in the back of the end zone, a ball that was tipped by Weichel. But huge play there. That's our Detroit Wing Company winging it pass of the game. If you are looking for a great way to cater your next watch party, Detroit Wing Company on Knapp's Corner is the place to go. Ask for the Huddle Pack that feeds 4 for just $25. That's Detroit Wing Company. First and goal for Calvin at the 3-yard line. In motion. The give is to Hogan, stacked up by Birch there at the line of scrimmage. No gain, 2nd and 3. Inside of 8 minutes to go. Calvin looking to put the nail in the coffin here. And this has been a good drive. This is after sort of a sluggish second and third quarter offensively. I think this offense needed a time-consuming drive like this.
Yeah, no question about it. And, you know, nice play by Birch that time, crashing down on Hogan. I wonder if we don't see a play fake here.
Nope. The gives to Hogan. He'll work the left side behind that big offensive line that now includes Isaiah Luke, number 78 in there, and Hugo Vanderwall. Stopped right at the line of scrimmage, 3rd down and 3. Hudson Shoup, number 14 in the game, as a slot receiver. He'll come out and be replaced by Paul Bauma. So it's Anderson, Mishmerheisen, Bauma, the receivers. Mishmerheisen drawing single coverage from Waldron on the right side. 3rd and 2 from the 2. Play action, pass thrown toward the goal line, intended for a sliding Bilesma. Just at his feet and couldn't make the grab. A little RPO there, run pass option. Good coverage by Jack Bloomquist. 4th down, and Calvin will kick a field goal.
12 personnel. You talked about him trying to get the tight ends involved. Had 2 of them on the field that time, and boy, it looked like a chance for a touchdown, but not to be.
Thomas Vaccaro is going to want a few of these passes back. That's encouraging because he's played, as you said, really well, and I think there's a lot more in the tank in his ability, because he has shown accuracy and can even dial it up a notch. Sal Ruffino on to attempt a short field goal from the 19-yard line. Good snap, spot is up and good. 34-7, 6:57 to go. The Knights lead. That stifling Calvin defense back on the field when we return on the Calvin Sports Network here on Michigan Sports Radio. 96.1 The Game and WXSP, brought to you by Northwestern Mutual.
This year has definitely changed my world. I'm making an impact here. It feels good to know every day that I'm growing in my abilities that I love, which is film, and I'm also growing as a believer in faith.
I'm really thankful that I was able to do work in my field during school, at school, and that has given me the confidence to move forward with doing my own independent work and getting to put my foot in that door before I even graduate. I don't think I would have found elsewhere.
.6:57 to go in this historic Saturday afternoon on the campus of Calvin University. The first ever intercollegiate football game to be played on this campus, and it has been everything the Calvin Knights have hoped for. They lead 34-7. Kickoff through the end zone, and it'll be 1st and 10 for Concordia at the 25. By the way, check out 96.1 The Game and MichiganSportsRadio.com next Friday for live coverage of over a dozen high school football games. I'll be in the studio hosting the show on Friday night. You'll be out on the shoreline doing a game next Friday. So
we got the cover for the bell.
And we lead into that because one of the exciting things about this Calvin football team, Jason, is all the West Michigan kids on the roster playing key roles.
Oh, no question about it. You love to see that. West Michigan's a great area for talent when it comes to high school football, and we love to see the guys show up on Saturdays, and with the addition of this Calvin program, that's just another reason why this is so great. More opportunities for kids to play on Saturdays.
You look at the rosters of the local college football teams here in West Michigan, south to Kalamazoo and north to Big Rapids, and there is no team that has a higher percentage of West Michigan players on their roster than do the Calvin Knights. That inside handoff on 1st and 10 to Pugh, picked up 3 yards. They'll fake to him now, and Justin Clark in the game now at quarterback, replacing Funk, Clark, the sophomore from Goodyear, Arizona, fires it out to Jason Leonard for a first down at the 41. Clark saw a lot of action last year, 9 games, completed 61% of his passes. Was pressed into duty when Funk was hurt midway through the season. Played a little bit last week against Thiel. First and 10 from their own 41. Handoff to Pugh. He'll try to get to the edge on the left side, turns the corner, and then falls forward to the 44. Carson Schneerstein, sideline to sideline to make that tackle. 2nd and 7.
Yeah, Schneerstein, boy, he reads that run so well. He's also done a nice job blitzing tonight, but his ability to see the play develop and then get to the spot, really impressive from the Portage Central grad.
2nd down and 7 from their own 44. Calvin still with all of their starting defensive players in the game, although Caden McCullough, 34, now in at middle linebacker. Clark to throw. He throws it over the middle, and Schneerstein just levels Nick Kroll on that drag route. Absolutely flattened him at the 46. I don't know how he held onto the ball.
Yeah. Boy, number 2's been all over the field. You talk about high school programs, excellent high school programs, developing kids. I mean, how about Portage Central and the job Mick Enders has done? They're 3-0 this year, having a lot of point. Outscored their opponents 168-0.
Schneerstein unofficially 14 tackles today. That matches his total from last week against Oberlin. 3rd and 5. Clark to throw. Here's an in route. Nice pass to Clark, complete at the 47 of Calvin in front of Minahan, who drops him there immediately.
Consecutive games with 14 tackles. Wow.
Check that. That was Jack Bradley who made the tackle.
A lot of starters still out there for Calvin. Hey, man, they played well.
Martins and Schneerstein still in with the linebacker spot. How about Jair Nolan? Very untouched at that cornerback spot on the boundary side. Fake the jet sweep does Clark, and then keeps it up the middle for 3 more to the 44.
I was actually surprised to see him back in because he didn't play the last series. We saw Brady Jacobs check in at that corner spot, but Nolan is back out there.
If there's a lockdown cover guy for Calvin's secondary, it's Jair Nolan. The senior from Georgia by way of Greenville College.
Yeah, it's so valuable to have seniors on this Calvin team, right? 2nd-year program. There are not a whole lot of them.
Think about Chase Bradman last year, Jason, what he brought to the team. Play fake. Clark will roll to his left, being chased by Martins. Flings it back across his body over the middle of the field. No one home at the 30. And it'll be 3rd down and 7 from the 44.
Yeah, Uncle Chase, he's missed, no doubt. But this Calvin team, they look good today, I'll tell you that.
Bradman had his really first big game last year against Concordia, threw 46 times, completing 27 for 300 yards. But more than the numbers, Chase Bradman taught a lot of these kids how to play college football, how to beat college football players. And that is well appreciated by that Calvin coaching staff. 3rd down and 7 for the Falcons at the Calvin 44-yard line. Trips left. Man coverage. Back to throw is Justin Clark. He's flushed out, being chased by Gallo. Lofts it down the left sideline out of bounds at the 10-yard line, intended for Leonard. Incomplete. It'll be 4th and 7. I assume Greg Eder will go for it here.
Alex Minahan in coverage there. He's played a really good game. He had that interception that he almost brought back to the house. Got it at the 5-yard line. Minahan the corner opposite Nolan. Doing some good things here today.
4th and 7 from the 44. 3:37 to go. Calvin rolling here in this first ever game on the Calvin campus. 34-7. And this crowd has been into it all day long, particularly when the Knights are on defense. Clark out of the gun. Here comes the rush. Throws it for Leonard, or rather Bradley, at the 33. Incomplete. The Knights hold again. Turn it over on downs to that offense. And Calvin now can salt this one away with 3.5 to go in the football game.
Yeah, it's Carson Schneerstein just blitzing right up the middle, and he made him deliver before he wanted to. And boy, Calvin gets off the field. I tell you what, Hunter Hogan's probably going to win the player of the game, but Schneerstein, he's right there.
Stay with us after the game for Big E's post-game show, including Jason Hutton's selections of a variety of players of the game. Big E Sports Grill with 2 locations in Grand Rapids, and 1 in Holland is the best place to catch this weekend's football action. Nick Earls into the game at running back, had a good first half, spelling Hogan. On first down, he's stopped for no gain by Caden Huizinga. And it will be a very slow tempo Calvin Knights offense here as we march to the end of this football game. 34-7. Calvin on top. Vaccaro out of the shotgun. Play clock down to 14. He's going to let it run and pick up a first down here, and the victory formation is forthcoming. Earls on the delayed handoff, bounces to the outside. Sort of got a block from Vaccaro around the right edge, and then was tripped up at the 48-yard line in Concordia territory. Sets up 3rd down and 2.
Hey, you love the effort, right? I mean, he's out there trying. Yeah, one more first down, and that'll get us into victory formation. Hey, Calvin just 6 yards away from 300 rushing as a team.
I'm sure when we talked to Trent Figg right after the game, that is one of the points of delight that he will have. 400 yards plus rushing last week against Oberlin, but again, I think everybody's a little skeptical of that last week against the opponent. Any skepticism has been eliminated here today. Nick Earls on 3rd down and 2, slashes over the right side for another first down. Bloomquist there to make the stop, and with 2 minutes to go, we hit the 2-minute warning. We'll step aside. Calvin's coronation to this opening day win coming up on the Calvin Sports Network here on 96.1 The Game, Michigan Sports Radio, and WXSP, brought to you by Northwestern Mutual.
Where will the next revolutionary idea come from? That next breakthrough in scientific research? At Calvin University, you can dream bigger, think deeper, aim higher. Our world-class faculty push students to keep asking hard questions and never settle for the status quo. Become part of a university that challenges students to go beyond as Christ's agents of renewal in the world. Calvin University, go beyond.
Well, this day started under a cloudy, rainy morning. It has been a festive atmosphere all day, starting with the Fan Fest this morning, and the crowd was into it, and it has turned out to be a beautiful fall afternoon. And what a day for the Calvin Knights.
It's almost like it was meant to be. I mean, I was at my son's middle school game this morning across the street at Forest Hill Central, and it rained most of the time, and it looked like, oh man, they're going to rain on Calvin's parade, but it's been a beautiful day, just all the way around. Great crowd, great football. Great way to start football on campus here.
A little rainy morning. Were you worried about a bad hair day?
Oh, never an issue for me. I'm good there.
2-minute warning is complete, and the Knights will go to the victory formation here on 1st and 10. 3 more snaps to Thomas Vaccaro. Let's start sliding into some of our awards. Jason Hunt, a lot of work for you to do here in these next few minutes. Starting out with our Defensive Player of the Game, brought to you by Straight Line Fence. Your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I got to go with Carson Schnurstein. I mean, 14 tackles to lead the way. I thought he was great blitzing, pressuring the quarterback, chasing down the run, filling holes. Just easy choice for me. Carson Schnurstein, Defensive Player of the Game.
That's today's Defensive Player of the Game, brought to you by Straight Line Fence, transforming properties across Michigan by crafting fences that provide sanctuary, security, and self-expression. Committed to care and craftsmanship, Straight Line Fence has earned a reputation as Michigan's most trusted fence installer. All right, as Vaccaro takes a knee again, minute 14 to go. Time now for our Bauman and DeGroot Player of the Game today. Lots of choices on that one.
Yeah, lots of choices, but I think it's pretty obvious here. Hunter Hogan, 34 carries, 220 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also caught 4 passes for 40 yards. Hunter Hogan was outstanding today.
That's today's Player of the Game, presented by Bauman and DeGroot, where only the best heating and cooling systems are recommended for you with no upselling and no pushy sales tactics. One more kneel down. And that will wrap this one up. Calvin's going to win it 34-7 today as the two teams head across the field. We're going to take a real quick break here, and when we come back, Trent Figg will join us down on the field. A happy Trent Figg as the Big East post-game show straight ahead on the Calvin Sports Network.
The best part of grad school would be the connections that you make, not only with your cohort, but with the professors as well.
I felt very supported, and I don't feel alone in the program.
I just really feel like each individual in the program gets a relationship with the professors in a different way that's meaningful to them and is more geared to them.
I'm a grad student at Calvin University. Yay! Okay.
This year has definitely changed my world. I'm making an impact here. It feels good to know every day that I'm growing in my abilities that I love, which is film, and I'm also growing as a believer in faith.
I'm really thankful that I was able to do work in my field during school, at school, and that has given me the confidence to move forward with doing my own independent work and getting to put my foot in that door before I even graduate. I don't think I would have found elsewhere.
Welcome back to Calvin University, taking you inside the Big East post-game show. Bob Sack alongside Jason Hutton, joined by victorious head coach Trent Fig. Trent, congratulations. Just an absolute beautiful performance here this afternoon. You talked about so many things during the week, what you wanted to do, but nothing jumps out off of the stat page more than the rushing numbers. Over 300 yards on the ground today. Hunter Hogan's performance was phenomenal. What made this rushing attack so lethal today?
Yeah, Bob, before I get going on that real quick, I just want to say, I mean, we've said over and over from day one in this program, man, we've literally sat in our staff room and we prayed that God would bring the right people to this program, man. We have unbelievable kids. We have an unbelievable staff. I'm so incredibly proud of our staff, of our players, of every single person involved here. I mean, Dr. Timmer, every single person that made this event happen today, this was an elite event for our program. So for Calvin University, for Night Nation, unbelievable. Coming into the game, we talked about the run game, both sides of the ball, and it was going to be huge for us. That's where we struggled last year against these guys, and we knew we were going to have to come run the football and stop the run. And man, our players did an unbelievable job of that.
Trent, last week we talked about Thomas Vaccaro and a little bit of nerves. Today, so many key plays. He missed a few passes here and there that he knows, he'd love to have back. But how about the third down and fourth down runs all game long? How'd you assess the progress of your quarterback from week 1 to week 2?
Yeah, we tell him all the time, take what the defense gives you, right? And that's what they gave us today. We were able to run the football. Thomas does a great job of leading those guys and just using his feet to go. He went and made us better today.
How about Hunter Hogan? 220 yards. He's 183 pounds and 34 carries, most of those between the tackles. What does that say about that kid to take on that workload for you guys?
Yeah, he's a warrior. I mean, he's an absolute warrior. We moved him to running back because we thought that's where he'd be best. Challenged him to get downhill this week, and that's exactly what he did.
You've talked all along about how physical you want this team to be, and I thought the secondary, in particular the tackling after catches by the Concordia receivers, was just outstanding. How happy are you of the progress and that physicality of this team?
Yeah, that's the thing we talk about day one. Our first team meeting is we make it very clear this is who we are. We're a physical football team, and I mean, that's what we build this whole thing on the field around. So we got to be physical every single day. Really proud of those guys. There's a ton of stuff that we got to get cleaned up, but man, I'm so proud of this team.
Coach, how do you balance, you're 2-0. Like, that's never happened at Calvin before. That's something to be proud of. But at the same point, you have more you want to accomplish. How do you walk that line?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to go celebrate in the locker room, celebrate the heck out of this one, and then we're on to the next week. I mean, football is a long season. I love that we're 2-0, but next week we have to go 1-0. That'll be the message all week long. So proud of these guys. We'll celebrate this tonight. We'll wake up tomorrow, and we'll be ready to roll.
Trent Fig, congratulations. Great job by what you've done, not only today, but in this program. Go enjoy it with your team.
Yeah, God bless. Go Knights.
A happy head coach Trent Fig after an outstanding performance today. Much to talk about after this 34-7 win. We'll be back after this. Break it down on the Big East post-game show coming up on the Calvin Sports Network here on Michigan Sports Radio, 96.1 The Game and WXSP.
Big East Sports Grill, your next destination for any occasion.
With incredible entertainment and amazing food that makes you want to come back for more.
Where family memories are made.
Where sports are enjoyed and friends gather.
Cheers to good times, great friends, and a place where the game is always on. Only at Big E's.
At Calvin University, innovation powers everything we do, from the classroom to the field. It's how we learn, how we lead, and how we grow together. That's why we're proud to partner with Applied Innovation, a regional company providing practical advice and cutting-edge technology, automation and imaging to drive business forward. Thank you, Applied Innovation, for investing in the future, ours and yours. You don't always see what keeps you comfortable, but you feel it. That's what Bauman & DeGroot brings to homes, businesses, and now Calvin Athletics. Thanks to their expert HVAC services, our facilities stay game ready year-round. Thank you, Bauman & DeGroot, for keeping us cool under pressure and warm when it counts.
Back at Calvin University, where the Fast Science final score was 34-7 today. Calvin over Concordia. Welcome inside the Big East post-game show. Bob Sack alongside Jason Hutton. An impressive win for the Knights today. They jumped out to a 14-0 lead, scoring each of the first 2 times. They had the football. Engineering drives was quarterback Thomas Vaccaro. Hunter Hogan is so good on the ground. And that made it 14-0 early in the first quarter. Concordia would make it 14-7 in the second quarter, and then really one of the key plays of the game, up 14-7. Calvin throwing a touchdown pass that was nearly intercepted, but Vaccaro found Jude Clunder in the back of the end zone, made it 21-7 at halftime. Knights added a third quarter field goal to make it 24-7 and a fourth quarter touchdown and a field goal to make it 34-7 today. Our Paris Motors drive of the game, so many drives, Jason, but I got to say the first drive, Trent Fig talked about how the team needed to come out strong and fast, and that set the tone for this game today. And from the moment teams took the field.
I couldn't agree more. Calvin won the toss deferred. They get a 3-and-out. Then they take the football. They go all the way down the field. They had momentum from the jump today, and I thought that was huge.
Find your drive at Paris Motors, where their friendly and knowledgeable sales staff is here to help you find the car you deserve, priced to fit your budget. Some of the key stats from our Advantage Commercial Real Estate stat sheet. What jumps out to you from a team stat perspective?
Well, the old adage is you want to win football games, run the football, stop the run. You don't have to look farther than that. Calvin, 294 rushing yards after 3 kneel downs from quarterback Tommy Vaccaro, and they hold Concordia to 44 rushing yards. You outrush your opponent by 250. That's going to be a big one. 29 first downs. They start 7 for 9 on third down. They end up converting just 1 of their final 9, but still over 40% for the game, and being 7 for your first 9, they'd kind of had the game in control at that point.
Individually for Concordia today, Roman Funk was 24 out of 36 through the air for 218, had 1 interception that he threw. Receiving, Jason Leonard was his top target with 6 catches for 65 yards. Jack Bradley with 5 catches for 60. On the ground, really one of the keys too. Ashar Thomas just 10 yards in 7 carries. That young man had 116 in the first half against Calvin last year. Jacob Pugh led the way with 7 carries and for 22 yards. For Calvin, on the offensive side, it was Thomas Vaccaro, 14 of 24 through the air, 1 interception, a couple of touchdowns for 132 yards. Jude Clunder was his favorite target today, 8 catches for 82 yards. And those 2 TDs, Hunter Hogan with 4 catches for 40 yards for the Knights. On the ground, as you mentioned, Hunter Hogan, 220 yards on the ground on 34 carries. Nick Earls added 47 yards. Thomas Vaccaro ran for 50 on 10 carries. Number of awards and recognition for you to hand out, Jason. Today's Energizing the Knights player, the guy who really gave this team a lift. Who was that today? Brought to you by Playa Bowls at Knapp's Corner.
I thought it was Jude Clunder. 8 catches, 82 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He had that first touchdown catch and that first touchdown drive. He was the guy that Vaccaro was looking to early. He ends up getting that second touchdown there in the third quarter on that deflected pass, which was an incredible play in the second quarter. And so, yeah, I just thought Clunder brought the energy tonight for the Knights.
That's today's Energizing the Knights player. Jude Clunder, brought to you by Playa Bowls at Knapp's Corner, your morning booster and your lunch break dreams, serving acai, pitaya, coconut bowls, and smoothies. And one more for you to pick, and that's actually two more. Our Visser Brothers teamwork of the game, really the moment where you saw this group gel together, or who did that. What's your observations on what you said, how much this team has improved from year one to year two?
Well, it didn't actually result in points, but I thought the interception return by Minahan, where you saw his guys blocking for him all up and down the field, Minahan brings it all the way back down to the 5-yard line. I thought that was kind of typified the day for Calvin and the way they worked together to really put out a good product.
And our last Jason Hutton award for the day goes to the player who really exhibited the ball security during today's. That's our ball security stat of the game, presented by People Driven Technology. Who do you look at that offense today and just like, who? I'm going to go with a different guy, but I'll give you a shot first because I know you're not going to pick my guy.
All right, I'm going to go with Vaccaro. He did throw the one interception, but his ability to run the ball, right, like he finishes with 10 carries, but the way he converted on third downs, running the football, I'm going to go with quarterback Thomas Vaccaro.
That's today's security stat of the game. I like that pick, but I thought on the special teams world, Caden Kolanowski was really solid on punt returns. He fielded a lot of them today, and just his decision-making and his sure-handedness was really important in terms of that ball security. So that's today's ball security stat of the game, presented by People Driven Technology, building security infrastructure for your business. So that'll do it here on this gorgeous Saturday afternoon as the trees start to turn color in the background. I think we have set the stage for an extremely exciting Calvin football season. It's just 2 games in. The Knights 2-0. Last week's 88-6 win over Oberlin raised some eyebrows for good reasons. Today's 34-7 triumph over Concordia has really solidified to the small college Division III football world that this program is on the rise. I want to thank a number of people today. Head coach Trent Figg for all his preparation on this. Jim Timmer and Jeff Phoebus, the SID, and of course Jim Timmer, the athletic director. Concordia Sports Information Director Jeremy Crawford for their help. I want to thank our broadcast crew, executive producer Lucas Moore, producers Adam Tozer and Nate Porter, engineers Carl Hordyke and Justin Kendall. We're all super bringing you the sights and sounds of this historic day at Calvin University. The camera crew was terrific. Carter Hutton was our spotter today, did an outstanding job. I want to thank Brock Conkle from Michigan Sports Radio, Charles Keegan back at the studio for 96 Won the Game, and of course Wade Cutler and the team at WXSP. And most of all, I want to thank you, all of our fans, for watching this one today. Terrific win for the Knights on this memorable afternoon, and we look forward to next Saturday night, our next broadcast on 96 Won the Game and Michigan Sports Radio, live from Tiffin, Ohio at 6:45. Calvin meets Heidelberg University on the road next Saturday night. Jason Hutton, great job today. Enjoyed working with you and look forward to seeing you in more games here in the coming days.
Yeah, it's a blast, Bob. Thanks for having me. Can't wait.
All right, once again, the Fast Signs final score today here at Calvin University was the Knights 34, the Concordia Wisconsin Falcons 7. So long, everybody. Have a great weekend.